Chapter 2475 Identity discovered. It was obvious that King Fengming had been paying attention to this matter. As soon as Lu Ming won, King Fengming immediately sent someone to confer Lu Ming the title of First Commander and to rope him in. "Many thanks, country ruler." Lu Ming cupped his fists. "Congratulations, Commander Lu." "Congratulations." The other commanders also came forward to congratulate Lu Ming. Lu Ming nodded in response. Not long after, the crowd dispersed and Lu Ming officially took charge of the governor's manor, the army, and the territory of Rama. 2 days later, Lu Ming began to send people to investigate the foreign races in Fengming country. He also sent people to look for clues about the cursed land. There were many cursed lands in Netherworld Mountain, and the living beings of Netherworld Mountain could not enter. In Fengming country, there was a cursed land that was heavily guarded by Fengming country ruler. After more than 10 days, there was finally news that they had found traces of foreign races in the north of Fengming. According to their subordinates, there were a total of 3 alien races. Their cultivation levels were unknown, but they did not disturb them. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes and he set off immediately. There was no reason for him to let the alien races go. Lu Ming charged over directly. In a valley, 3 non-humans were discussing how to enter the capital of Fengming and find an opportunity to enter the cursed land. However, these 3 alien races weren't particularly strong. 2 of them were 1-star heavenly emperors, and the other was a great emperor. Lu Ming could sense the other party's cultivation. He did not hesitate and attacked immediately. Whoosh! 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 Lu Ming rushed into the sky and shot out 3 spearlights. Without any suspense, the 3 foreign kinds were killed immediately. Then, he took the other party's storage ring and burned the alien's corpse to ashes. Lu Ming left the place. After that, there were no more traces of foreign races in Fengming. Netherworld Mountain was huge, and Fengming country was only a small part of it. This time, there were not many outsiders who came in. There were only a few thousand of them, and they were scattered. Naturally, there were not many people from Fengming country. Lu Ming put more energy into the cursed land. Lu Ming pondered on how to find an opportunity to sneak into the cursed land. At this moment, Monarch Fengming sent someone to summon Lu Ming. Within the imperial palace, in a large hall, Monarch Fengming sat on the high seat. Lu Ming walked into the hall and cupped his fists. Lu Ming greets the country ruler. "Commander Lu, please take a seat." King Fengming waved his hand, an inexplicable smile on his face. Lu Ming sat down at the side. "I wonder why the country ruler has summoned Lu Ming?" Lu Ming asked. King Fengming seemed to be smiling but not smiling. He muttered to himself for a moment before he suddenly opened his mouth. "Lu Ming, if I'm not mistaken, you're not from the Netherworld world, are you?" Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, but his face remained calm. Country ruler must be joking. "If I'm not from the Yellow Springs world, where would I be from? It came from beyond the heavens." King Fengming opened his mouth and his eyes became even brighter. "In the ancient records of my Fengming country, there were records that in the distant past, who knows how many years ago, there were people from beyond the heavens who descended. These people from beyond the heavens were not afraid of the cursed land of Netherworld Mountain and could enter and leave freely. As for you, I can't find any information on you. It's as if you appeared out of thin air. After you became the commander, you immediately sent people to investigate some inexplicable people. Most importantly, you've been investigating the cursed lands all this time. No one in the Yellow Springs world is interested in the cursed lands because the people of the Yellow Springs world can't enter these cursed lands. Only people from beyond the heavens are interested in the cursed lands. Am I right?" King Fengming's eyes were bright as he stared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's thoughts turned quickly. He pondered for a while and said, "That's right, I'm indeed from beyond the heavens." Since the other party was already suspicious, there was nothing to hide. It was better to just say it out and negotiate with the other party. He really is from beyond the heavens. King Fengming's eyes were incomparably bright as he said excitedly, I didn't expect it, I didn't expect it. So the ancient records are true. I always thought it was just made up, just a legend. After a long while, Monarch Fengming finally calmed down. Lu Ming, you want to enter the cursed land, don't you? Asked King Fengming. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded and told him the truth. Legend has it that the cursed land was left behind by the most ancient ancestor of the Yellow Springs world. You'll have a great opportunity. Lu Ming, let's work together. He'll let you enter the cursed land, and you'll split the treasures you obtain 50-50. How about it? Said King Fengming. That's right, well split it 50-50. If I don't let you enter the cursed land, you won't be able to enter either. You have to understand this. King Fengming said, his body exuding a powerful aura. Monarch Fengming was a 4th-level void transformation stage martial artist. He was a peerless expert that was equivalent to a 4-star heavenly emperor. All right. Lu Ming did not hesitate and nodded. It was a win-win cooperation. Lu Ming did not have to fall out with the other party. Fine, haha, Commander Lu, you can go back first. I will let you know in a few days. King Fengming smiled. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left. Lu Ming returned to the governor's manor. He cultivated while waiting. He was looking forward to the cursed land. However, entering the cursed lands and whether one could gain anything from it still depended on luck. This was because before the myriad tribulation, someone had entered the Yellow Springs world. However, it was too long ago before the myriad tribulation. The heaven realm was probably still in the earliest primordial era. At that time, there were probably not many powerful people, and there were probably not many living creatures that came in. There might be many cursed lands that had not been explored. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Liao Min had something important to report to Lu Ming. Commander, there are more than 10 people outside saying that they are from your hometown and they want to see you. Liao Min said. From the same hometown? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Wasn't his fellow villager from the heaven realm? Quickly let them in. Lu Ming instructed. Yes. Liao Min nodded and left. A moment later, he came in with a dozen people. Senior 6 saints. Lu Ming's eyes lit up when he saw one of them. He went forward to greet him. These people were beings from the heaven realm. Lu Ming recognized one of the elders. He was Heavenly Venerate 6 sages, a 4-star heavenly emperor tier powerhouse who guarded the 2-world city. Back then, he had met Lu Ming a few times. Apart from Heavenly Venerate 6 sages, Lu Ming did not recognize the rest of the people. Judging by their cultivation, they were at the Celestial Emperor realm and Great Emperor realm. Among them, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages' cultivation was the highest. Liao Min, you guys can leave. Lu Ming instructed Liao Min and the rest to leave. After Liao Min and the others left, only Lu Ming, 6 sages, and the others were left in the hall. Senior, are you also in the vicinity of Fengming? Lu Ming asked. No, we're here to look for you. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages sighed. Lu Ming, I'm afraid that Fengming country is no longer safe. What's going on? Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. The foreign race has already obtained the Dragon People Empire's trust and is in control of the Dragon People Empire's powerful strength. The Celestial said. Chapter 2475 Entering the Cursed Land, Dragon People Empire. Upon hearing this name, Lu Ming's expression changed and he looked solemn. During this period of time, he had looked up a lot of information in the capital of Fengming, so he naturally knew about the Dragonman Empire. This was a powerful empire that was far stronger than the country of Fengming. There were many countries and forces in the Yellow Springs world. These countries and forces were divided into 4 levels according to their strength. The first level was like the Fengming Kingdom, where the strongest was a 4-star heavenly emperor or even a 5-star heavenly emperor. This level of power was the lowest level. The second level was where there were 6-star heavenly emperors or even peak 7-star heavenly emperors. Such a force was much stronger than the country of Fengming. The third level had an invincible master. What was an invincible master? In the heaven realm, the primal chaos emperor and the undying emperor were invincible. They were half a step into the martial god realm. They were invincible below the martial god realm, and their strength was even stronger titan a peak heavenly emperor. This was the invincible master. There weren't many of such forces in the Yellow Springs world. The fourth level, which was the strongest force, was the force with a martial god. On the surface, there was only one force like this in the entire Yellow Springs world, which was the Yellow Springs Empire, which occupied a large territory in the center of the Yellow Springs world. The Yellow Springs Empire had a martial god, and there was more than one. He was truly supreme and commanded the 8 directions. The Dragon Man Empire was a second-tier power, and it had a peak heavenly emperor. Its strength was many times stronger than the Fengming Kingdom. And Fengming Country was a small country near the Dragon People Empire. Now, the foreign race had actually obtained great power in the Dragon Man Empire. Right now, the foreign races have borrowed the strength of the Dragon Man Empire to sweep through some of the surrounding small countries. Many of our heaven realms people have died at the hands of the foreign races. We've just escaped. I heard that the commander of the country of Fengming is called Lu Ming. I guessed that it was you, so I rushed over to take a look. The Celestial said. In that case, I'm afraid that the foreign tribes will soon send experts to Fengming. Lu Ming said. I'm afraid so. It said that Fengming country has a cursed land. There aren't many small countries around the Dragon People Empire that have a cursed land. They'll definitely be targeted by the other party. The Celestial said. Lu Ming muttered to himself. After a while, he said, it's too much of a pity to leave now. King Fengming has already agreed to let me enter the cursed land. Let's wait a little longer. Once we enter the cursed land and take away the opportunities inside, we'll leave immediately. Alright, let's do that. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the others nodded in agreement. It would be a waste if he didn't take the opportunity. Moreover, he couldn't leave it for the alien race. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the others would be staying in the governor's manor. Fortunately, they did not have to wait long. 2 days later, King Fengming sent someone to call for Lu Ming. Lu Ming brought 6 sages and the rest to the palace. Who are they? King Fengming looked curiously at 6 sacred Heavenly Venerate and the others. They are my friends. Let's enter the cursed land together. I don't know if there are any dangers in the cursed land, but the more people we have, the higher our chances of success. Lu Ming said. That's good too. However, we can't change our share, said King Fengming. Naturally. Lu Ming nodded. Come with me, King Fengming said. Then, he led a group of people towards the northern side of the palace. After leaving the palace, they arrived at a dense forest. After passing through the forest and a canyon, they saw a tall mountain. Of course, along the way, there were powerhouses standing guard. The cursed land is right in front of us. You guys can go in. As for whether there's any danger inside, I don't know, said King Fengming. Lu Ming nodded. Then, they walked forward. There was a stone door at the foot of the mountain in front of them. It was half open, and it was pitch black inside. Everyone slowed down and approached carefully. They didn't know if there was any danger in the cursed land, so they naturally didn't dare to be careless. Heavenly Venerate 6th Saint, who had the highest cultivation base, walked in front as the group carefully entered the gate. Behind the door was a passage, and it was so quiet that not a single sound could be heard. The group advanced carefully. This passageway was very long, at least a few thousand meters. After passing through the passageway, they would arrive at a huge underground cave. The cave was empty, with nothing inside. There were some stone doors around the cave. The group did not split up. They still gathered together and walked towards some stone doors. Behind the first stone door was a secret room, but there was nothing inside. The group came to the second stone door, which was also a secret room, but it was also empty. Everyone looked at each other. Could it be that this cursed land had already been visited by someone before the myriad tribulation, and everything inside had been swept clean? The crowd was unwilling to give up and continued to search. Behind some of the stone doors, there was a passage. After walking in, they saw secret rooms. However, these secret rooms were all empty. Everyone looked disappointed. It seemed like they were really going to return empty-handed today. However, they were really unwilling to leave just like that. They planned to turn this place upside down and search for themselves. They continued to walk towards the stone doors that they had not searched. There's a passage behind this. There's no secret chamber. Someone suddenly said. As the group walked, they found a passage that led straight ahead. The group followed this path and continued forward. After walking for an unknown distance, the passage became wider, but everyone had no choice but to stop. In front of him, there was a section of the wall and the ground that was filled with strange patterns that emitted a dim light. When these lines were put together, they looked like a huge array. Be careful. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages reminded him before talking out a great emperor weapon and controlling it to fly forward. Buzz. When the emperor-level weapon passed through the path, the patterns suddenly glowed and countless fine threads filled the path. Some of these threads were snow-white, while some were crimson-red. They were like tiny sword chi, emitting a cold and hot aura. Yes, ice-cold and heat coexisted. The emperor weapon was enveloped by the threads and kept making ear-piercing sounds. Kacha. In just a few breaths, the emperor weapon was covered in cracks before it exploded and turned into dust that scattered in the air. Hiss hiss hiss. A few gasps could be heard. This was indeed a great formation, and its power was astonishing. A great emperor weapon would turn into powder in a few breaths' time. Not even a residue was left. If people went in, they would be dead. Those below the heavenly emperor realm turned pale. They knew that they couldn't go in and would stop here. I'll try. A burly man stepped out and walked forward. Chapter 2476 Sword Formation. Blocking the way, this burly man's entire body was pitch black, as if it was cast from black iron, and was filled with endless power. This burly man wasn't a human. His true form was a divine beast, a giant ape with infinite strength and strong defense. Moreover, he was a 2-star great emperor. Bang! Bang! He was cautious as he walked forward step by step. Finally, he stepped into the area of the great array. Buzz! Buzz! The runes seemed to shake and light up. Countless thin threads stabbed at the man like tiny swords. Block kit. The burly man roared as world energy filled his body. At the same time, he took out a few defensive emperor weapons and charged forward. However, the power of those tiny sword chi was too strong. In the blink of an eye, at least tens of thousands of tiny sword chi had hit him. The emperor-level weapons around him were covered in cracks in an instant before exploding and turning into dust. Ding! 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 As soon as the emperor weapon was broken, countless tiny sword chi hit the burly man. His body trembled violently, and he was stopped in his tracks. One side of his body was covered in a layer of frost, while the other side was extremely red. The burly man's expression was extremely unsightly. His body trembled and he suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood. His aura rapidly weakened. Not good. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sage's expression changed. He rushed over and pulled the burly man out. Everyone saw that the burly man's body was covered with tiny holes, from which cold and hot air flowed out. The burly man quickly sat down cross-legged, swallowed a pill, and began to heal his injuries. He had been severely injured just now. If not for the help of the 6 sages, he would have definitely died here. The others looked solemn. The power of this grand array was also too powerful. Even a 2-star Heavenly Emperor couldn't resist it, so it would probably be the same for a 3-star Heavenly Emperor. I'll try. A 3-star Heavenly Emperor was unwilling to give up and wanted to try. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it either. His defense was quickly broken by the tiny sword chi, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. He was in a slightly better state than the burly man from before. He had taken the initiative to retreat, but he had also suffered considerable injuries. Even a 3-star Heavenly Emperor couldn't do it, so everyone turned to look at the 6 sages. His cultivation was the highest among the people present, so they could only rely on him now. I'll do it. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages strode forward and stepped into the array. As soon as he stepped into the formation, a pagoda appeared in his hand and enveloped him within it. Then, he took a big step forward, wanting to rush over. That pagoda was a Heaven Dao soldier. However, the runes in the surroundings shone even brighter as boundless sword chi rushed towards 6 sages. In particular, the sword chi in front of him increased by several times, forming a wall of sword chi in front of him. Ding! 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 The sword chi attacked the Heaven Dao soldier in a frenzy, causing it to shake violently. Bang! Bang! Celestial Venerable 6 Saints unleashed his full power and a powerful aura emanated from him. Controlling the Heaven Dao soldier, he strode forward with all his might. However, every step was extremely difficult. After a few minutes, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages had only advanced less than 10 meters. One had to know that this section with the formation was a few hundred meters long. The sounds of the collision grew more and more intense, and the Heaven Dao soldiers also began to shake more and more violently. Sparks flew in all directions, and an ear-piercing sound came from the Heaven Dao soldier. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sage's expression changed drastically. Even the Heaven Dao soldiers were damaged and couldn't block it. Heavenly Venerate 6 Saints hurriedly retreated, not daring to advance. Retreating was much easier than advancing. Not long after, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages had already retreated out of the array. He hurriedly checked the Heaven Dao soldier and found that there were a few small holes on it. Heaven Dao soldiers were too hard to come by. Now that they were damaged, it would be extremely troublesome to repair them. It seems that we can't go over. It's difficult to pass this formation without the cultivation of a 6-star Heavenly Emperor or above. The others sighed. However, at this moment, a figure stepped out. Lu Ming. The others were shocked. Lu Ming actually wanted to give it a try. If even Heavenly Venerate 6 sages could not do it, how could Lu Ming? Bang! Bang! Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast as he stepped into the array. Lu Ming did not use the Heaven Dao soldier. The 6 sages had already proven that the Heaven Dao soldiers were useless. Using them would only damage them. Lu Ming wanted to try it with his own strength. Whoosh! 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 As soon as Lu Ming entered the formation, countless tiny sword auras rushed toward him. Some of the sword chi was extremely cold, while the others were extremely hot. Lu Ming felt that he was in a furnace where coldness and heat converged. Buzz! The muscles all over Lu Ming's body trembled rapidly. At the same time, he activated the imperishable golden body to block the sword chi. Ding! 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 When the sword chi stabbed Lu Ming's body, there was a piercing sound of metal clashing. Many of the sword chi were blocked. However, Lu Ming felt a sharp pain in his body as if he was being pricked by needles. Although most of the sword aura was blocked, a portion of it broke through Lu Ming's defense and pierced into his body. Lu Ming quickly activated the indestructible ancient scroll and recovered quickly. Fortunately, Lu Ming's physical body was extremely strong and his life force was exuberant. With the help of the indestructible ancient scroll, his injuries recovered very quickly. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming took a few steps forward. However, the further he went, the more sword aura he encountered. More sword chi pierced into Lu Ming's body. His recovery speed could not keep up with the speed of his injuries. My lord! Lu Ming growled. His entire body was covered in a purple gold light. The power of domination covered his entire body. A series of concentrated sounds rang out, and the ruler's power trembled, but it wasn't pierced. The sword chi was blocked. The power of a ruler is indeed effective. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Then, he continued to stride forward. In less than a minute, Lu Ming had advanced more than 50 meters, far surpassing the previous 6 sages. So fast, what kind of power is this? It's so terrifying that it can block the attack of that sword chi. The number one heaven's pride in the heaven realm is indeed extraordinary and incomparable. The others sighed and hoped that Lu Ming would be able to make it. Right now, the heaven realm and the foreign kinds were at a life and death juncture. The stronger the heaven realm was, the more hope they had. Naturally, they hoped that Lu Ming would be able to walk over and gain something. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming continued to move forward. 60 meters, 70 meters, 80 meters. Lu Ming moved forward 1 meter at a time. Very soon, he had walked past 100 meters. However, at this point, the power of the formation was even more terrifying. The sword chi was endless and densely packed as it blasted towards Lu Ming. Chapter 2478 Statue containing the will of a ruler in front of Lu Ming, the sword chi increased in number and formed a wall of sword chi. It kept attacking him, trying to push him back. The Nominator's power that enveloped Lu Ming's body was shaking more and more violently. There were even ripples in some places. At this rate, Lu Ming would not be able to hold on for long. There was still at least 100 meters ahead. Could it be that we're going to stop here? Lu Ming thought to himself and felt a little indignant. Although he did not know what was in front of him, or perhaps it would still be empty after he passed, Lu Ming was a little unwilling to leave without taking a look since he had already come this far. The Tao of domination rules over everything, including the power of heaven and earth. It's reasonable to say that it rules over everything in the world, including this sword chi. Many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. Then, his eyes lit up and he growled, "Get out of my way, my lord." He was using the Tao of Sovereign as a medium to control the sword chi through heaven and earth. Whoosh! Whoosh! The sword chi flew at high speed, but when it got close to Lu Ming, it curved and flew past him. It's effective, it's really effective. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He then focused on controlling the way of domination and the sword aura. Indeed, when the sword chi neared Lu Ming, it would curve and fly past him. Lu Ming increased his speed and sped forward. This, heavenly venerates 6 sages and the others were dumbfounded. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming's speed increased exponentially as he strode forward. Although there were more and more sword chi in front of him, none of them could hit Lu Ming. Very soon, Lu Ming had crossed the distance of more than 100 meters and passed through the formation. The Tao of a sovereign is truly profound. Can it really control all things in the world? That's truly terrifying. At the thought of this, Lu Ming was secretly delighted. This way, he could even control the enemy's attacks. For example, if the opponent's attack was about to hit him, he would control it and attack the enemy instead. What kind of scene would that be? However, Lu Ming also understood that this had something to do with one's cultivation and strength. If the sword formation was stronger, Lu Ming would not be able to control it. Similarly, if the opponent's combat strength was too strong, Lu Ming would also find it difficult to control. Everything was still related to his own strength. Everyone, Lu Ming will go to the front and take a look. Lu Ming said to 6 sages and the rest. Go, be careful. The Celestial said. Lu Ming nodded and continued to move forward along the passageway. Not long after, they reached the end of the passage. At the end of the passage was a stone room. The stone room was empty. Lu Ming looked disappointed. It seemed that he would have to return empty-handed again. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's gaze was cast on a statue against the wall of the stone room. This statue was a young man. This person was very handsome and looked to be in his 20s. His hands were behind his back, and his eyes were like stars. He exuded a domineering intent realm. That's right. It was the will of a ruler. It was very similar to the way of a ruler that Lu Ming had comprehended. How could this be? This intent is definitely the Tao of domination. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with shock. At this moment, he let his imagination run wild, and many thoughts flashed through his mind. Could it be that there was someone else in the world who had comprehended the Tao of a sovereign? He couldn't help but think back to when the foreign race's divine ancestor had seen his power and seemed to have recognized it. Also, the ancestral dragon recognized this power and called it ruler power. In the past, Lu Ming had thought that the power that he had comprehended was unique. This was because he had comprehended 10 ultimate laws and 71 king path laws before he could comprehend the ruler's path. Now, it seemed that it was possible that someone else had comprehended the Tao of a ruler. The owner of this statue must have also comprehended the Tao of a ruler, or else the ruler's intent wouldn't be so dense. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. It wasn't a bad thing for him that someone else had comprehended the ruler's path. If he was the only one who had comprehended the Tao of domination, then he could only rely on himself to blindly explore. If someone else had comprehended the Tao of domination, then he would have a ready-made path to walk on. The will of a sovereign emanating from this statue will be of great use to me. Lu Ming's eyes brightened. He immediately sat down cross-legged and controlled the way of a sovereign. The power of a sovereign spread toward the statue. Buzz. It seemed to have resonated with Lu Ming's Tao of domination. The statue shook slightly and a layer of purple gold light emanated from it. At this moment, Lu Ming seemed to see a young man with his hands behind his back. He was unparalleled in his style and he ruled the world. At this moment, Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master was slowly deepening. Just as Lu Ming was comprehending the ruler's Tao, outside the cursed land, King Fengming was standing guard with a group of people. He was waiting for Lu Ming to come out. At this moment, a middle-aged man flew over with a panicked expression. Country ruler, something bad has happened. The middle-aged man shouted anxiously from a distance. What's the matter? King Fengming frowned. Country ruler, the Yuan High country, the Great Yan country, and the Bright Moon country have joined forces and sent their armies to attack our Fengming country. We already have 18 cities that have been occupied by the other party. The middle-aged man reported. What? King Fengming turned pale with fright. How is that possible? These 3 countries all have enmity with each other. How could they join forces to attack my country of Fengming? King Fengming simply couldn't believe it. Report. At this moment, another burly man flew over. What is it? King Fengming said anxiously. Country ruler, the messengers from the Source Ocean country, the Bright Moon country, and the Great Yan country want to see you. The burly man reported. Meet him, quickly meet him. He's just outside the capital. King Fengming quickly said. Then, he hurriedly brought his men back. 2 days later, monarch Feng Ming met with the emissaries from the three kingdoms outside the capital. To his shock, King Feng Ming discovered that beside the three envoys, there were a few strange-looking people. These people all had 3 eyes. If Lu Ming was here, he would have known at a glance that these people were from the evil god race. The emissaries from the other nations were all followed by people from the evil god tribe. Furthermore, there was a 4-star heavenly emperor from the evil god tribe beside each emissary. Everyone, I wonder why you all want to join forces to attack my Feng Ming country? Asked King Feng Ming. In particular, the Bright Moon country, which had a good relationship with the Feng Ming country, had come to attack the Feng Ming country, which made him confused. We're just following orders. The envoy from the Bright Moon country said. Following orders? King Feng Ming was shocked. That's right. A lord from the Dragonman Empire has ordered your Feng Ming kingdom's cursed land to allow these outsiders to enter the cursed land. The envoy from the Mingyue kingdom pointed at the evil god race and said. Chapter 2478 Crisis, an Outsider. It's a person from beyond the heavens. King Feng Ming's heart moved as he understood. There were definitely people from beyond the heavens who had been valued by the Dragonman Empire's big shots or had cooperated with them to enter some cursed lands and obtain the treasures inside. Just like the cooperation between him and Lu Ming, emissaries, I'm afraid you're too late. Someone has already entered the cursed land. Explained King Feng Ming. Someone went in. Who was it? What does he look like? A purple-haired member of the evil god race asked. He was a member of the royal race of the evil god race. In fact, the number of foreign royal clans that came to Netherworld Mountain this time was relatively large. That person's name is Lu Ming. Country ruler Feng Ming described Lu Ming's name and appearance. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. So it's Lu Ming. Very good. The divine ancestor has given the order to kill Lu Ming without mercy. A few of the foreign kinds spoke one after another, and their 3 eyes glowed with a cold light. You, bring us to the cursed land. Otherwise, the country of Feng Ming will be destroyed. One of the evil god race members said. Yes, they'll take you there now. Don't worry. King Feng Ming hurriedly nodded. He had no choice, the other party was sent by the Dragonman Empire and he did not dare to disobey. There were experts at the peak of the Void Transformation stage guarding the Dragon People Empire. As for those at the 4th level Void Transformation stage and above, there were even more of them. He was the only 4th level Void Transformation stage martial artist in the Feng Ming country. If he went against the Dragon People Empire, only death awaited him. Lu Ming, don't blame me for turning my back on you. You can only blame your bad luck for offending someone you shouldn't have. King Feng Ming said awkwardly. Following that, he brought the emissaries from the other kingdoms and the experts from the evil god tribe towards the cursed land. Soon, they arrived outside the cursed land. Are there any dangers in this cursed land? The royal member of the evil god tribe asked. I don't know about this. King Feng Ming shook his head. He wasn't sure about this. There was no record of this in the ancient records. Generally, cursed lands are dangerous. I suggest that we stand guard outside and let Lu Ming take the risk inside to help us clear the way. It's best if he dies inside. If he doesn't die and comes out with an opportunity, it'll be beneficial to us. What do you think? One of the evil god race members said. Good, that's great. Lu Ming got some opportunities and came out in high spirits. I wonder what his expression will be when he finds out that he's an Oreo behind him. Ha ha ha. A few members of the evil god race started laughing. Everyone, apart from Lu Ming, there are some other people. One of them is an expert at the 4th level of the Void Transformation stage. Why don't we? King Feng Ming rolled his eyes and offered a conspiracy. Good, ha ha ha. The evil god tribe members laughed after hearing this. Lu Ming knew nothing about the outside world. He was fully focused on comprehending the way of the ruler. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed, and Lu Ming felt that he had gained a lot. Meditating on the Tao of a ruler for half a month here was comparable to fumbling around outside for a few years. Let Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others know. They'll probably still need some time to comprehend it. Lu Ming pondered. Although he did not obtain anything here, to Lu Ming, there was nothing more useful than this statue. This was his chance. When Lu Ming returned to the edge of the formation, he realized that 6 sages and the rest were still there. Lu Ming explained the situation inside. Lu Ming, go and cultivate. I'll wait for you here. While you're at it, I'll take a look at the other places and search. The Celestial said. They hadn't completely searched the cursed land before. While Lu Ming was in seclusion, they could do a thorough search. Many thanks, Senior. Lu Ming nodded and returned to the statue to continue comprehending the way of the master. Time flew by, and 3 months had passed. Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master had improved greatly. Lu Ming felt that as long as he had enough resources, he would be able to break through and reach 4-star Great Emperor. Lu Ming planned to find a place to break through after he went out. Unfortunately, the ruler's will on this statue is limited. I've already comprehended most of it. Lu Ming sighed. He felt that even if he continued to study it, he wouldn't be able to make much of a difference. Gotcha. At that moment, a crack suddenly appeared on the statue. The cracks were very thin at first, but they quickly grew longer and larger. In the end, the cracks were like a spider's web, densely covering the statue. Bang! In the end, the entire statue exploded and turned into ashes. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. What was going on? Could it be that if he completely comprehended the ruler's will on the statue, it would collapse? This was the only explanation that made sense. Otherwise, Lu Ming really could not figure it out. That's, when the statue exploded, a strong fragrance filled the air. Lu Ming discovered that there was a pit under the statue. There was a plant in the pit. The plant was bare and had no leaves. It only had a trunk, and on the trunk hung a bright red fruit. The fruit was crystal clear and had a treasure light flowing around it. It gave off a strong medicinal fragrance. What kind of fruit is this? It's so rich in life essence. Lu Ming tried to identify it, but he could not identify what this plant was. He had come into contact with all kinds of spirit herbs, saint herbs, and emperor herbs, but there was no such record. However, the life essence in this fruit was really too rich. It was so rich that it was shocking. If I refine this fruit, I'm afraid I can make a breakthrough in my physical body. Lu Ming had a thought in his mind. At the thought of this, his eyes lit up. If he could make another breakthrough in his body and cultivate the 7 gods' mysterious technique to the middle of the 6th level, he would be able to suppress an ordinary 4-star heavenly emperor with his physical strength alone. He would even be able to fight against the 4th level void transformation stage in Netherworld Mountain. With the Tao of a ruler, his battle power would increase dramatically. Refine. Lu Ming made a prompt decision and walked over. He observed carefully and found no danger. Lu Ming uprooted the plant and plucked the fruit. He planted the root in his own small world. Lu Ming sat cross-legged, holding the fruit and observing it for a while. The fruit was the size of a fist, and it was overflowing with life essence. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and swallowed the fruit in one bite. Boom! The moment the fruit entered Lu Ming's body, it was like a volcanic eruption. Waves of scorching energy erupted and rushed into Lu Ming's limbs and bones. What a shocking amount of energy. Good, good. Lu Ming was not shocked. Instead, he was happy. Now, his physical body was equivalent to the Heavenly Emperor realm. It was too difficult to break through. One had to know that once his physical body broke through, he would have to cross several levels. The amount of energy required was simply too much, so much that it was shocking. The more energy the fruit contained, the more confident he would be in breaking through. Chapter 2480 Strength Increase. Boom. 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 The fiery red fruit exploded in Lu Ming's body like a volcano, turning into waves that surged into his limbs and bones. It was as if Lu Ming's physical body was wrapped in endless lava and was about to melt. Waves of pain spread throughout his body. The energy contained in the fiery red fruit was truly shocking. Even with Lu Ming's current physical body, he could not withstand it and was about to be torn apart. The indestructible ancient scroll, the power of a sovereign. Lu Ming growled as he circulated the indestructible ancient scroll to heal his injuries. At the same time, he circulated his ruler's Tao. The path of domination was to dominate everything. Lu Ming tried to dominate the energy and control it from there. It was indeed useful. Under the path of a ruler, the energy became much more docile. Then, Lu Ming circulated the mysterious seven gods technique. His muscles, bones, and bones vibrated at 10 billion times per second to refine the energy. Whoosh! Streams of energy were like the water of a river, flowing into Lu Ming's body. With every vibration, endless energy was used up and refined. It seeped into Lu Ming's muscles, bones, and bones, strengthening his body. Lu Ming's physical body was improving rapidly. It was a true speed, much faster than when he cultivated in the dragon essence pool in the lair of Zulong. The energy of the lair of Zulong was relatively mild. However, the energy of this fruit was extremely violent. Fortunately, it was Lu Ming. If someone else had swallowed the entire fruit, they would have exploded and died. However, the berserk state brought about a rapid improvement in his physical body. Refine, refine, refine. Lu Ming put all his effort into refining it. Very soon, a month had passed. Boom! Before the energy from the fruit was completely refined, Lu Ming's body shook like thunder. He had broken through. His physical body had broken through to the middle of the sixth stage of the seven gods' mysterious skill. Now, Lu Ming's physical strength alone was enough to suppress a 4-star heavenly emperor. His combat strength had increased greatly. There was still some residual energy in his body. Lu Ming continued to operate the seven gods' mysterious technique to refine all the remaining energy. The remaining energy was naturally not enough for Lu Ming's physical body to continue breaking through, but it could be consolidated. A few days later, Lu Ming refined all the energy and ended his cultivation. Lu Ming revealed a smile on his face. Lu Ming had already gained a lot from this trip to the Cursed Land. What could be better than a deeper mastery of the Tao of domination, a breakthrough in the physical body, and a great increase in strength? Bang! Lu Ming took a step forward and walked back. Very soon, Lu Ming was near the sword formation. There were only a few people on the other side of the sword formation. Lu Ming has come out. The few of them smiled when they saw Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming strode forward and charged into the sword array. When Lu Ming charged into the sword array, the array lit up again and tiny sword chi appeared, rushing toward Lu Ming. This tune, Lu Ming did not even use the way of the ruler. He relied on his physical body and the indestructible ancient scroll to block the sword chi attack. Lu Ming dashed out for 100 meters before he began to cast the way of the master. He controlled the sword chi and rushed out of the sword formation. "Everyone, where are the 6 saints?" Lu Ming asked. "They're waiting for you outside," one of them said. Lu Ming nodded and followed the few of them. On the way, Lu Ming learned that they did not have any other gains in this cursed land. It was obvious that this cursed land had already been plundered before the myriad tribulation. After passing through the passage, they arrived at the huge stone chamber and saw Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others. After casually chatting for a while, the group walked out. After a while, they left the cursed land and from afar, they saw Monarch Feng Ming waiting with a group of people. Ha ha ha, Commander Lu, you're finally out. From afar, King Feng Ming came over to welcome him with a face full of smiles. Your Majesty. Lu Ming cupped his fists. Commander Lu, how was your trip to the cursed lands? King Feng Ming asked with a smile. Sigh, country ruler, to be honest, I'm returning empty-handed this time. Lu Ming sighed. Return empty-handed? King Feng Ming's expression changed slightly. That's right. I'm afraid that someone has already entered this cursed land before the myriad tribulation. If you don't believe me, my lord, Lu Ming can swear an oath. Lu Ming said. Ha ha, what oath? Of course I believe in the commander. Let's go back and welcome you back. This Dao brother, please. King Feng Ming laughed and extended his hand to invite 6 sacred heavenly venerate. Heavenly venerate 6 sages had not been on guard. Buzz. At this moment, King Feng Ming suddenly made his move. A combat sword appeared in his palm and he stabbed it towards 6 sages. At such a close distance, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages was completely unprepared. He had never expected that King Feng Ming would suddenly attack him. It was already too late for him to dodge. Pfft. The long sword had pierced through 6 sacred Heavenly Venerate's heart. Roar. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages roared and struck out with both palms. King Feng Ming pulled out his sword and retreated. Heavenly Venerate 6th Saint fell to the ground and vomited blood. He had been severely injured. Lu Ming and the rest were shocked by the suddenness of the situation. They moved quickly and surrounded the 6th Saint. Why are you doing this? Lu Ming looked at country ruler Feng Ming coldly. To get rid of you, of course. The one who spoke was not country ruler Feng Ming, but someone else. Buzz. Whoosh. In the surroundings, figures flashed and appeared one after another. It's the evil god tribe. The other people in the heaven realm were in an uproar. It's indeed the evil god tribe. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. When he saw the evil god race, he understood everything. The evil god tribe must have arrived after they entered and King Feng Ming must have surrendered immediately. He must have pretended to be talking to Lu Ming and the others to launch a sneak attack. This was because, to Emperor Feng Ming's knowledge, the 6 sages were a threat. That was why he had launched a sneak attack and eliminated the 6 sages first. At the very least, he had to injure them severely. This way, Lu Ming and the others would be like turtles in a jar. Lu Ming, the divine ancestor has ordered us to kill you without mercy. You can go in peace. Ha ha ha, well be valued by the divine ancestor after killing you. Lu Ming, your death was worth it. The evil god tribe members laughed. You think you can kill me? Lu Ming said coldly. Oh. Do you want others to save you? I'm telling you, don't even think about it. Your useless subordinates are all here. One of them sneered and with a wave of his hand, a few heads fell to the ground. Liao Min, Wu Fan, Lu Ming's eyes reddened at the sight of the heads, and an icy cold killing intent emanated from him. Liao Min, Wu Fan. They were all Lu Ming's guards. They had followed Lu Ming from the beginning and did not betray him. However, they were killed by the other party. He was furious. Today, all of you will die. Lu Ming's voice was extremely cold. Finally, he looked at King Feng Ming and said, your Feng Ming country will be destroyed. Chapter 2481 Killing King Feng Ming. As Lu Ming's cold gaze swept across him, country ruler Feng Ming could not help but shiver. Then, he took a deep breath and revealed a ferocious expression, I'll kill you now. Buzz. Country Master Feng Ming made his move. A bright sword light slashed toward Lu Ming. Monarch Feng Ming had a cultivation base at the 4th level void transformation stage. In the heaven realm, he was equivalent to a peerless expert at the 4-star heavenly emperor stage. His battle prowess was much stronger than a 3-star heavenly emperor. The sword gleam was extremely sharp and it neared Lu Ming in an instant. Boom! Lu Ming immediately threw a punch at an astonishing speed, accurately hitting the blade of Feng Ming's sword. The combat sword in Feng Ming's hand trembled continuously, and his body shook violently as well. He was forced to retreat dozens of steps before he could stabilize himself. Your battle power, how did you? King Feng Ming was extremely shocked. In the previous move, he felt that Lu Ming's strength had completely surpassed his. How was this possible? A few months ago, he had seen Lu Ming and Rama fight. Back then, Lu Ming was stronger than Rama, but not by much. He was confident that he could take down or even kill Lu Ming. He did not expect that in just a few months, Lu Ming's ability had surpassed him. How was this possible? One must know that at their level of cultivation, it was extremely difficult to improve even a little bit. It would take a long time, so how could it be improved in a few months? The Cursed Land. He must have obtained a supreme opportunity in the Cursed Land. That's why his combat strength has increased so much. King Feng Ming thought to himself. Kill him. We must kill him and take his fortune. King Feng Ming roared in his heart. The original battle sword in his hand disappeared and was replaced by a black battle sword. Buzz! The battle sword shook, and the sword chi soared to the sky. This is a Heaven Dao soldier. Lu Ming's heart stirred. They weren't exactly Heaven Dao soldiers either, as their weapons didn't contain the power of the Heaven Dao. However, their grade was equivalent to that of a Heaven Dao soldier. As the ruler of a country and with a cultivation at the 4th level void transformation stage, it was normal for King Feng Ming to have a weapon that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier. Buzz! King Feng Ming moved again and charged at Lu Ming. As for the other foreign races, they didn't make a move. With King Feng Ming leading the way, they were happy to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor. They blocked the way in all directions to prevent Lu Ming and the rest from escaping. The Great Desolation Spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. His body emitted a purple-gold light and he swept the spear out. This time, Lu Ming used all his strength. The power of his physical body, the power of a ruler, and the power of the Great Desolation Spear. Boom! The two of them collided once again. Buzz! The battle sword in King Feng Ming's hand trembled madly as a terrifying power charged towards King Feng Ming. King Feng Ming immediately spat out a large mouthful of blood as his body was sent flying. His eyes were wide open in disbelief. He had already used all his strength, but he was still vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming's aura was like a rainbow. His muscles trembled and his body burst out, charging towards King Feng Ming at an extremely fast speed. The people inside Netherworld Mountain were stronger than those outside. The strength of country ruler Feng Ming was also slightly stronger than the ordinary 4-star heavenly emperor outside. On the other hand, Lu Ming had cultivated the 7 gods' mysterious technique to the middle of the 6th stage. He could suppress an ordinary 4-star heavenly emperor with his physical strength alone. Therefore, he was on par with King Feng Ming in terms of physical strength. King Feng Ming had a combat sword that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier, while Lu Ming had the Great Desolation Spear. The two of them were equal. However, Lu Ming had the power of the Path of Domination. Once he erupted, he completely crushed King Feng Ming. Boom! The Great Desolation Spear trembled and became incomparably huge as it struck towards country ruler Feng Ming. Country ruler Feng Ming turned pale with fright as he raised his battle sword to block. The Great Desolation Spear struck the battle sword of country ruler Feng Ming heavily. The terrifying power caused country ruler Feng Ming's arm to explode. His combat sword flew out of his hand and flew out. Lu Ming used his ruler's power and put away his opponent's combat sword. As for country ruler Feng Ming's body, he was like a meteorite as he crashed into the ground. Boom! The earth trembled as King Feng Ming smashed a huge hole in the ground. He spat out blood continuously. Everyone around them was dumbfounded. The powerful country ruler Feng Ming could not even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Not good, let's join forces and kill him. One of the alien races roared. Attack! The other alien races also roared and charged at Lu Ming. There were a total of 3 4-star heavenly emperors. The others were 3-star heavenly emperors, 2-star heavenly emperors, and 1-star heavenly emperors. A total of 9 alien races charged toward Lu Ming. From all directions, a series of attacks were blasted toward Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming did not take it head-on. Instead, he turned into a stream of light and fell to the ground. His entire person was like a long spear, stabbing towards King Feng Ming. No, King Feng Ming roared. However, he was severely injured. Even if he wanted to dodge, he couldn't. Bang! Lu Ming's footsteps landed heavily on country ruler Feng Ming's body. His entire body exploded and turned into ashes under the terrifying and violent power. Only a storage ring flew out and was caught by Lu Ming. Bang! Following that, Lu Ming stomped heavily on the ground. The ground shook and a huge pit was blasted out. It was covered with cracks that looked like cobwebs. Lu Ming's body soared into the sky and he thrust the Great Desolation Spear. Whoosh! 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 Rays of spear radiance pierced through the heavens and earth, piercing towards the foreign kinds. The 1-star, 2-star, and even 3-star heavenly emperors couldn't resist at all. They were pierced through by the spear radiance and died in the air. Only the 3-4-star heavenly emperors could block it. However, their bodies shook violently and they were sent flying by Lu Ming. Individually, these 3-4-star heavenly emperors were not as strong as King Feng Ming. This is bad. Let's go. Well, ask a stronger person to kill Lu Ming. One of the foreign beings revealed a look of horror and turned to run. The other 2 foreign kinds ran even faster than him. Lu Ming's combat strength was not something they could match. If they did not run, they would die. The 3 of them ran in 3 different directions. Even if Lu Ming were to chase, he could only chase one person. You want to leave? Lu Ming said coldly. The purple gold light on his body became even more dazzling. My lord! Lu Ming murmured. The way of domination melded with heaven and earth. It instantly took effect on the 3 alien races, wanting to dominate them. The 3 demonic humans froze. This stiffness was enough. Whoosh! Lu Ming became one with the spear and turned into a purple gold spear gleam. It pierced through the void and stabbed at one of the alien races. Pfft! The alien was killed by Lu Ming in the air. At this time, the other 2 demonic humans had already reacted and were extremely shocked. Just now, they had felt a powerful force acting on them from the dark, causing their bodies to freeze. Run, run, run! The 2 demonic humans were terrified and started to run away. Chapter 2482, Cultivation Base Breakthrough. It seems that my ruler's power can only affect a 4-star heavenly emperor expert for a moment. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He was only able to do this after he had comprehended the Nominator's will from the statue in the Cursed Land. Lu Ming's comprehension of the Nominators now had greatly improved. Otherwise, he would not have been able to do this. However, it was enough to affect a 4-star Great Emperor for a moment. For those below the 4-star Heavenly Emperor level, the impact would probably be even greater. For those with weaker cultivation, Lu Ming could dominate them and prevent them from attacking him even if he stood there without moving. Buzz! Lu Ming continued to control the way of domination and used it on the remaining two alien races. The bodies of the two demonic humans froze again. No, no, the two demonic humans roared in their hearts. Whoosh! A ray of spear light shot out, and a foreign being was killed. Next, there was only one alien left. He had already lost the thought of running away and attacked Lu Ming madly. The result was destined. He was killed in the air by Lu Ming after a few moves. Lu Ming put away all the storage bracelets and rings of the alien races. Around him, the subordinates of country ruler Feng Ming dispersed in an uproar. Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the rest of the heavenly realm were all dumbfounded. Including monarch Feng Ming, there were a total of 4 4-star great emperors. All of them were killed by Lu Ming. Not a single one of them managed to escape. Lu Ming's methods were simply strange and unpredictable. Senior 6 saints, how are your injuries? Lu Ming walked over and asked. Good, it's already stabilized. The Celestial said. Just now, he was heavily injured by country ruler Feng Ming. Fortunately, his head and dantian weren't attacked. Although his injuries were severe, they weren't life-threatening. With his peerless expert life force and astonishing recovery speed, he had already stabilized himself. Then, let's go, we're going to rob the Feng Ming Imperial Palace. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a cold glint. Let's go. The others also revealed ferocious expressions. They immediately flew toward the palace. When they arrived at the Imperial Palace, it was already in complete chaos. The news of King Feng Ming's death had already spread. The experts in the palace were in complete chaos and began to snatch the treasures of the palace. In order to snatch treasures, they killed each other, and the Imperial Palace was in a state of slaughter. Kill. When Lu Ming and the rest arrived, they immediately charged in. They specifically chose Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses to kill. In Feng Ming country, other than the 13 commanders, there were still some other Heavenly Emperor powerhouses. Lu Ming and the rest killed everyone they saw. Lu Ming had killed 2 Heavenly Emperor powerhouses in a row and snatched their storage rings. These Heavenly Emperors all had many divine stones on them. The amount of resources that Lu Ming would need for his cultivation in the future was too terrifying. One must know that his true cultivation base was only at the Great Emperor realm. The resources he used were comparable to other Heavenly Emperors. If he were to break through to the Heavenly Emperor realm, how much resources would he consume? Therefore, what he wanted to do most now was to stock up on resources. Run! Seeing Lu Ming and the rest charging towards them, the experts in the palace dispersed in an uproar. Lu Ming and the rest went deep into the palace and opened a treasure vault. Inside was the royal treasury, which was filled with a large amount of resources. There were all kinds of medicinal herbs, blacksmithing materials, combat weapons, and divine stones. Unfortunately, they didn't find any weapons that were equivalent to celestial sovereign weapons. The highest level was only a great sovereign weapon. There was also a large number of divine stones, which Lu Ming and the rest divided among themselves. Without a doubt, Lu Ming had the greatest credit. He took the majority of the credit and Lu Ming accepted it without any hesitation. After ransacking the palace, Lu Ming and the rest left the capital of Feng Ming and flew into the distance. They only found a hidden place to stop after flying for hundreds of thousands of miles. Heavenly Venerate 6th Saint was recuperating while Lu Ming entered the mountain and river diagram to check on his gains. Lu Ming took out the storage rings and bracelets and counted them. Most of the alien race's storage rings contained crystals that were specially used by the alien races. They were not of much use to Lu Ming. However, there were some divine stones in the alien race's storage bracelets that Lu Ming had collected. The biggest gain was still country ruler Feng Ming. Not only did King Feng Ming contribute a combat sword that was equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier, he also contributed a large number of divine stones. In the end, Lu Ming piled all the divine stones into a pile and counted them. There were about 30 million pieces. 30 million divine stones, each of which was equivalent to 10,000 supreme-grade raw stones. It was an amazing fortune. Now, I can break through my cultivation. Lu Ming smiled. His comprehension of the path of a ruler had already reached the standard. He could make a breakthrough in his cultivation now. Once he did, he would reach 4-star Great Emperor and his combat strength would increase exponentially. With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming took out a large number of divine stones and began to absorb the energy inside the divine stones to break through. This time, Lu Ming did not use chaos gems to break through. He planned to use divine stones. He only had about 10,000 chaos gems left. He planned to keep them for now. They might be useful in the future. Bang! 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 Piles and piles of divine stones exploded and turned into the unique divine chi of the netherworld world, which was absorbed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated the path of domination and refined it with all his might, transforming the energy into world energy. Lu Ming began to break through to 4-star Great Emperor. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. The aura on Lu Ming's body had increased dramatically. His entire body was shrouded in a purple-gold light, and he looked extremely noble. After 2 months of cultivation, Lu Ming finally broke through and his cultivation level reached 4-star Great Emperor. The area of the small world in his body expanded by a huge circle. The world energy was even more robust, and the ruler's energy mixed in with the world energy was also a bit thicker. Lu Ming's combat strength had increased tremendously. Now, he could suppress a 4-star celestial the Arch with just the Tao of Domination. With the combination of the Tao of Domination and his physical body, Lu Ming could even kill a 5-star celestial the Arch. The truly powerful one was still the Tao of Domination. One should know that Lu Ming's current cultivation was only at the 4 stars Great Emperor realm. He could cross a large realm to kill an enemy. His potential for improvement was huge. How powerful would he be when he entered the Heavenly Emperor realm in the future? Would he be able to compete with the martial god? Lu Ming was very much looking forward to this. After ending his cultivation, Lu Ming exited the mountain and river diagram. Lu Ming, you've made another breakthrough in your cultivation. Sensing Lu Ming's aura, Celestial Venerable 6 Sages was shocked. I broke through by luck. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the others gasped. A breakthrough by luck. They laughed bitterly. Why didn't the others get this lucky? They were already in awe of Lu Ming. At such a young age, Lu Ming could already kill a 4-star Heavenly Emperor in a row. Now that he had a breakthrough in his cultivation, how powerful would his combat strength be? One had to know that a 4-star Heavenly Emperor was already known as a Celestial Venerable in the Heaven realm. Lu Ming was now able to kill Celestial Venerables in succession. He was almost at the peak of this world. In a few more years, he would probably be unrivaled. They knew that they were witnessing the rapid rise of an invincible figure. Chapter 2483 Impersonating a Dragon Man. Lu Ming, what's your plan next? The Heavenly Venerate asked. Go to the Dragon Man Empire. Lu Ming said. Previously, when he had checked the ancient records, he had found out that there was a cursed land in the Dragon Man Empire that was much bigger than the cursed land in Feng Ming country. Go to the Dragon Man Empire? The faces of Heavenly Venerate 6 Sages and the others changed. Lu Ming, there's a 6-star Celestial the Arch from another race in the Dragon Man Empire. He's also trusted by the Dragon Man Empire. I reckon he's exploring that cursed land. 6 Sages said with a grave expression. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor was too powerful. One more step and he would be a peak Heavenly Emperor. I won't fight them head-on. I'll disguise myself and go over to check out the situation. If they've already plundered the cursed land, I'll leave immediately. If they haven't, we might be able to take advantage of the chaos and reap some benefits. Lu Ming said with a smile. In that case, we'll go with you. We don't know where to go anyway. The Celestial said. The others nodded in agreement. They really didn't know where to go now. Alright, why don't we do this? You guys enter my small world first. I'll go alone and change my appearance. It'll be easier for me to move around. Lu Ming said. Alright, let's do that. Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the rest nodded and entered Lu Ming's small world. After everyone had entered the small world, Lu Ming cast the divine breath technique and his body began to transform into a dark-skinned youth. He left the place and headed towards the Dragon People Empire. The Dragon Man Empire was separated from Fengming country by a small country. Lu Ming traveled at full speed and took 3 days to arrive at the Dragon Man Empire. The Dragon Man Empire was extremely vast, at least 10 times larger than Fengming country. There were many races in the Dragon Man Empire. There were humans, snake people, and so on. However, the most numerous race was the Dragon Man race. The Dragon Men had 2 dragon horns on their foreheads and a long dragon tail. Some of them even had dragon scales on their bodies. Other than that, they were no different from ordinary people. Lu Ming was walking in a city. He was secretly amazed at the Dragon Men. These Dragon Men were half human and half dragon, and they emitted a strong dragon chi. They were all burly and above 2 meters tall. There are so many races in Netherworld Mountain. Senior Ancestral Dragon said that Netherworld Mountain came from beyond the sky. What kind of place is beyond the sky? Myriad tribes contending for hegemony? Lu Ming's thoughts were flying and his imagination was running wild. He was very curious about that outer space. I have the blood essence of the 9 dragons, and I've cultivated the dragon god combat body. I've also refined some dragon marrow before, so I also have strong dragon chi in my body. Why don't I disguise myself as a dragon man? At the thought of this, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. If he could disguise himself as a dragon man, it would be easy for him to do things in the Dragon Man Empire. Immediately, Lu Ming's body changed rapidly again. 2 dragon horns grew out of his forehead, scales appeared on his body, and a long tail grew out of his buttocks. There was also a dense dragon chi emanating from his body, just like a dragon man. Ha ha ha. Lu Ming smiled and then swaggered on the street. On the street, the creatures of other races looked at Lu Ming in awe. In the Dragon Man Empire, although there were many races, they were also divided into ranks. There was no doubt that Dragonians were respected and enjoyed special privileges wherever they went. Let's go to the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. Lu Ming smiled and flew towards the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. After a few days, Lu Ming arrived at the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. Lu Ming started to wander around the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. An evil god tribe member. After walking for a while, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He saw an evil god tribe member. This evil god looked very young, and he had definitely cultivated for less than 10,000 years. He should be a prodigy on the longevity roll, and he was only at the Emperor realm. Lu Ming revealed a smile and walked over. You outsider, how dare you molest the beauty of my clan? You're simply courting death. Lu Ming glared at the alien and strode toward him. What? The alien was stunned. Kneel down and surrender. Lu Ming grinned and gave him a slap. The other party was shocked and wanted to resist. However, he was too far away from Lu Ming. He was slapped in the face by Lu Ming and fainted. Many Dragonians around them looked at Lu Ming curiously. This fellow molested my dragon beauty. Shouldn't he be taught a lesson? Lu Ming said casually. Yes, they should be taught a lesson. These 3-eyed aliens have been very arrogant recently. They should be taught a lesson. Good lesson. You even dared to molest the beauty of my clan. You're simply despicable. Cripple him. The Dragonians shouted. Lu Ming smiled. He then grabbed the alien and strode away. After making a few rounds, he came to a remote place. There was no one around. Lu Ming stretched out his finger and touched the person's glabella. Lu Ming cast the soul-searching technique to search the person's soul and obtain information. The man's body trembled. Very soon, Lu Ming obtained some useful information. There was indeed a 6-star Heavenly Emperor realm expert from the foreign race who had obtained the attention of the Dragon Man Empire. They had cooperated with the Dragon Man Empire and entered the Cursed Land to search for treasures. They had split the treasures equally with the Dragon Man Empire. This time, the foreign races had gathered 50 to 60 experts in the Dragon Man Empire. There were quite a number of Heavenly Emperor realm experts. A few months ago, the foreign races had entered the Cursed Land, but they encountered difficulties. There were dangers and obstacles in the Cursed Land, so the non-humans were advancing very slowly. During this period of time, they had been thinking of ways to conquer the Cursed Land. In addition, the alien races had gained a lot of treasures in the areas that had been conquered. It hasn't been conquered yet. Good. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The Cursed Land had not been completely broken through, and the place that had been broken through had many treasures. This meant that no one had explored this Cursed Land before. There would definitely be a lot of gains inside. Lu Ming decided that he must explore this Cursed Land. Bang! Lu Ming waved his hand and a burst of energy exploded, killing the alien. Then, he burned the man into ashes. Then, Lu Ming headed towards the Cursed Land. The Cursed Land was located in the mountains to the west of the Dragon People Empire's capital. Very soon, Lu Ming arrived at that place. There were many Dragonians guarding this mountain range. However, when they saw that Lu Ming was also a dragon man, they thought that he was one of their own and did not bother much. In any case, the locals of Netherworld Mountain couldn't enter the Cursed Land. Lu Ming easily crossed the mountain and arrived at his destination. Within the mountains, there was a castle. The castle covered an extremely large area. This was the Cursed Land. In the nearby area, many Dragonians were wandering around and waiting. Chapter 2484 Killing Non-Human Beings. Lu Ming swaggered over. The Dragonians did not pay much attention to him after they saw him. Lu Ming wandered around for a while and suddenly rushed toward the Cursed Land. What are you doing? You're looking for death. On the side, the Dragonians roared. The people of the Yellow Springs world had been cursed for generations. They could not enter the Cursed Lands. Once they entered, they would die. In their opinion, Lu Ming was courting death. However, Lu Ming's speed did not slow down at all. He ran wildly and approached the castle in the blink of an eye. He's fine, he's fine. The dragon men looked at each other. According to their experience, as long as they were within a certain range of the Cursed Land, they would be cursed and die on the spot. However, Lu Ming had already run to the castle and he was fine. It's fake. Damn it. He must be fake. He's pretending to be a dragon man. Detestable. On second thought, the Dragonians knew that Lu Ming was an imposter. Only outsiders could enter the Cursed Land. However, they could only watch helplessly and did not dare to pursue. The castle was huge, and the gate was open. Lu Ming rushed in directly. Behind the door was a dark passage. Lu Ming reduced his speed and advanced carefully. This Cursed Land was dangerous. However, there was no danger in this passage. When Lu Ming was about to reach the end, nothing happened. However, at the exit of the passage, there were two foreign races guarding it. They were stunned when they saw Lu Ming. That was because Lu Ming was still in his dragon man form. Could a dragon man enter this place? That was why they didn't know how to react. Buzz. Lu Ming took the opportunity to charge forward. His palm was like a knife, cutting horizontally. Bang! Bang! With two loud bangs, the two alien races were killed by Lu Ming. He charged past them. Behind the passage was a huge platform, and in front of the platform were two wide roads. The two paths led in different directions. The road on the right was pitch black and covered in a bloody mist. It was a terrifying sight. As for the road on the left, it was also covered in white fog, blocking one's vision and making it impossible for one to see what was ahead. On the platform, there were more than a dozen foreign kinds either standing or sitting. On the road to the left, there were also a few foreign kinds standing there. Only the right path didn't have any foreign races. As soon as Lu Ming entered, more than 10 alien races looked at him in unison. Dragon Man? No, it's definitely not a Dragon Man. Someone is pretending. Who cares who he is? He doesn't have the aura of my race, so he must be from the heaven realm. Kill him. A cold aura bloomed as a cold voice sounded. Buzz. One of the four-armed alien was the first to charge at Lu Ming at an extremely fast speed. This alien had the cultivation base of a 3-star heavenly emperor, which was very powerful. However, his opponent was Lu Ming. A purple gold light emanated from Lu Ming's body. His power of domination condensed into a long spear and he thrust it forward. It looked like Lu Ming was stabbing at the void, but as he did so, a scream was heard. The four-armed alien appeared out of thin air, his head pierced by Lu Ming. A 3-star heavenly emperor was killed instantly. Not good, this person is very strong. Let's attack together. Kill. Other than a few who were not even heavenly emperors, the rest of the alien races were all heavenly emperors. A few of them were extremely terrifying. 2 4-star heavenly emperors and 1 5-star heavenly emperor. Lu Ming no longer hid his abilities and attacked with all his might. The Great Desolation Spear appeared in his hands. Lu Ming was bathed in the purple gold light. The long spear vibrated and he stabbed a few times in succession. The 2 4-star heavenly emperors were sent flying by Lu Ming and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. The 5-star heavenly emperor's body trembled violently and he retreated. Lu Ming was unleashing his full power now. He was so powerful that even a 5-star heavenly emperor was not his match. Not good, this person is difficult to deal with, quickly call him sir. The 5-star heavenly emperor roared. Call me Lord. A few of the demonic humans, who were guarding the intersection on the left, rushed into the road. Kill. Lu Ming wielded his long spear, his killing intent as sharp as a knife, and charged towards the foreign kinds. With a sweep of the long spear, a few of the foreign races were sent flying with broken bones and tendons, dying on the spot. Damn it! The 5-star heavenly emperor roared angrily. A yellow stone flew out of his third eye. It exuded a powerful aura and was thrown at Lu Ming. This is Heaven Dao soldiers. No, there's no aura of the heavenly Dao. It's a weapon of this world. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The misty yellow stone that the other party had taken out was a weapon equivalent to a heavenly Dao soldier. It was a weapon from Netherworld Mountain, and there were many wondrous formations engraved on it. As long as one injected energy into it, it would be activated. Boom! Lu Ming shook his long spear and swept it out, colliding with the stone. The rock was sent flying. The non-human 5-star heavenly emperor was also forced to retreat by Lu Ming's powerful energy. Lu Ming strode forward, his long spear stabbing out continuously. Pft! Pft! One by one, the alien races died under Lu Ming's spear. With Lu Ming's current combat strength, anyone below the level of a 4-star heavenly emperor would not be able to withstand a single blow from him. In the blink of an eye, there were only 5 or 6 of the foreign kinds left. The rest of the non-humans were terrified. They didn't dare to continue fighting and turned to run. You're looking for death. At this moment, an angry roar came from the left road. A burly figure rushed out from the road, stirring up white mist like a hurricane. He had yet to come out, but his violent aura was already pressing toward Lu Ming. 6-star Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming muttered fearlessly. He strode forward and the terrifying purple-gold spear's gleam charged towards a 4-star celestial, the arch of the foreign tribe. The foreign being tried his best to block the attack, but he spat out a mouthful of blood. One of his arms exploded, and he was severely injured. "My lord, save me!" the alien shouted. "You dare!" the voice roared in the road. "Kill!" Lu Ming was very decisive. He attacked again. The spear's gleam pierced through the air and directly pierced through the injured 4-star Heavenly Emperor, killing him in the air. Buzz! At this moment, a pale white saber light slashed out from the intersection. It was shockingly powerful and the terrifying force was headed straight for Lu Ming's face. Lu Ming's arm shook and the Great Desolation spear changed its direction rapidly, blocking in front of him. Clang! There was a violent tremor and Lu Ming felt a violent force charging at him. He could not help but retreat. Then, a burly alien with a saber in his hand walked out of the intersection. This foreign being's 3 eyes glowed with a cold light, and his body exuded a powerful aura. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor. Then, with a flash, 5 or 6 figures rushed out from the road on the left, each of them an expert. 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors. Lu Ming could tell the other party's cultivation level. 1 6-star Heavenly Emperor and 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors. Chapter 2485, Revival of the Divine Nine-Dragon Cauldron. A 6-star Heavenly Emperor and 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors formed a circle and surrounded Lu Ming. Their cold killing intent enveloped Lu Ming. Heaven Realm trash. The 6-star Heavenly Emperor said coldly. This was a noble of a different race. He was tall and covered in purple scales. He held a battle sword in his hand. He was wide and huge, even taller than an ordinary person. Bang! The other party made his move immediately. His burly body approached Lu Ming in an instant and his huge saber slashed out violently. The space exploded and the power was shocking. Lu Ming's entire body was covered in a bright purple gold light as he pushed his strength to the extreme. When Lu Ming's energy was activated to the extreme, he could no longer maintain his disguise and revealed his original appearance. Buzz! The Great Desolation spear trembled violently and swept out, colliding fiercely with the opponent's saber. With a violent boom, Lu Ming was once again pushed back. Now, even if he used all his strength, he was not a match for a 6-star Heavenly Emperor. In the Heavenly Emperor realm, there was a huge gap between each level. Lu Ming, it's you. The other party recognized Lu Ming the moment he revealed his true form. Kill him. Let's attack together. The other 4 5-star Heavenly Emperors also roared and attacked together. 5 5-star Heavenly Emperors joined forces, and their power was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming brandished his long spear tightly and blocked the other party's attack. However, he was still forced to retreat and the chi and blood in his body were in turmoil. Kill! The 6-star Heavenly Emperor also rushed over and slashed out a pale saber flare. Lu Ming no longer took the attack head-on. His muscles trembled and he moved horizontally for 100 meters to avoid the other party's attack. He then rushed toward the road on the right. There was no alien race guarding that road. The 5 alien experts were in hot pursuit. Buzz! Lu Ming's speed was very fast. In an instant, he arrived at the intersection. He did not stop and rushed over directly. The 5 alien races stopped. Are we going to chase them? A 5-star Heavenly Emperor non-human asked. There's no need to chase. This path is more dangerous than the one on the left. It's much more difficult. If this kid goes in, hell die. Leave 2 people here to guard. Well, continue to attack over there. If there's any movement here, inform me immediately. The 6-star Heavenly Emperor ordered. Yes. The others nodded. They waited for a while more. Seeing that Lu Ming did not come out, a few of them returned to the left path, leaving 2 people to keep watch nearby. Lu Ming entered the path on the right and kept moving forward. This road was filled with blood-red mist, blocking the view and making it impossible to see the scenery ahead. The foreign tribe didn't chase after us. It seems that there's danger here. Lu Ming pondered. He focused his mind and covered his body with the power of domination. He held the Great Desolation Spear and walked forward carefully. After advancing for more than 10 miles, a dragon's roar suddenly came from ahead. That's right, it was a dragon's roar. This place. Could there be a true dragon? Lu Ming had some doubts. They continued forward. Roar. Roar. The dragon's roar became louder and louder. Suddenly, the fog churned and 2 blood-red lights appeared in the fog. They were like 2 blood moons. Then, a huge true dragon appeared in the fog. The true dragon was blood-red all over. Its blood-red eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Roar. A true dragon, there's actually a true dragon. Lu Ming was bewildered. This was the Netherworld Mountain, a place that came from beyond the heavens. In the heaven realm, the ancestral dragon was known as the ancestor of all true dragons. In that case, didn't that mean that true dragons only existed in the heaven realm? Could it be that there were true dragons beyond the heavens? In that case, the theory that the ancestral dragon was the ancestor of all true dragons was worth discussing. No, it's not a real body. It's an illusionary body. Then, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He realized that this true dragon seemed to have a physical body, but there was no life aura on it. Instead, it was condensed from some kind of energy. Roar. The moment the true dragon saw Lu Ming, it roared and pounced at him. 1-star Heavenly Emperor. As soon as the true dragon made its move, Lu Ming could tell that it had the cultivation base of a 1-star Celestial Emperor. Naturally, a 1-star Heavenly Emperor was no match for Lu Ming. Lu Ming's spear struck out and the true dragon was defeated. However, after the true dragon was defeated, it turned into a wave of energy and drifted back, then condensed into a physical body again. Roar. Roar. Following that, more roars were heard. As the blood mist churned, another blood-red true dragon appeared. There were strong and weak auras, but the weakest one was a 1-star Heavenly Emperor, and the strongest was a 3-star Heavenly Emperor. As soon as the true dragons saw Lu Ming, they roared and pounced on him. Lu Ming held the Great Desolation Spear and charged over. The long spear trembled and shot out spear light. It pierced into the heads of the true dragons and crushed them. However, the moment these true dragons were defeated, they immediately condensed again. There was no way to kill them. Kill. Lu Ming rushed over and went deep in. However, he realized that more and more true dragons were appearing. Moreover, there were already more than 24-star Heavenly Emperor-level true dragons that had surrounded Lu Ming. Why are there so many true dragons? Are they dragon souls? Lu Ming made a guess. More than 20 true dragons pounced at Lu Ming continuously. After being defeated by Lu Ming, they condensed again. However, Lu Ming finally realized something. Every time the true dragons were defeated, they would become weaker. It wasn't completely unkillable. As long as he killed it a few more times, he could still kill it. Lu Ming's long spear trembled continuously. The bright and sharp spear radiance burst out continuously, blasting the true dragons apart. What? At this moment, Lu Ming's expression changed. He felt that the divine nine-dragon cauldron, which had been silent in his sea of consciousness, had actually moved. The divine nine-dragon cauldron hadn't shown any signs of change since it had used up all its energy more than 100 years ago. However, there was a change now. Could it be related to these true dragons? Lu Ming did not think and immediately summoned the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Buzz! As soon as the divine nine-dragon cauldron appeared, it began to shake violently. The dragon carving on the cauldron emitted a bright light, as if the dragon on it had come alive. Roar! Then, a loud dragon roar came from the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Then, the shadow of 9 dragons appeared, opened its mouth, and roared. A terrifying devouring power was emitted from the mouths of the 9 dragons. The blood-red true dragons showed fear and wailed. But in the next moment, these blood-red true dragons actually turned into red light and flew into the mouths of the 9 dragons, disappearing. More than 20 blood-red true dragons were swallowed by the 9 dragon phantoms, regardless of their cultivation level. Buzz! The divine nine-dragon cauldron shook violently, and a powerful aura emanated from its surface. The divine nine-dragon cauldron had been revived. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Chapter 2486 Combat Power Skyrockets. Lu Ming did not expect that the divine nine-dragon cauldron would actually come back to life after devouring the blood-red true dragon. It was emitting powerful fluctuations. Although it was still a lot weaker than when he was at his peak, it was still very shocking. This blood-red true dragon is actually useful for the divine nine-dragon cauldron. More of it, the more the better. Lu Ming laughed heartily in his heart. He had been quite depressed because of these blood-red true dragons, but now he couldn't wait for more to come. With a thought, Lu Ming put away the divine nine-dragon cauldron and continued to move forward. Roar! Roar! Dragon roars could be heard continuously. As Lu Ming went deeper, blood-red true dragons kept appearing. Their numbers increased and their cultivation level grew stronger. Behind them, there was actually a 5-star heavenly emperor. However, when Lu Ming summoned the divine nine-dragon cauldron, it immediately devoured the blood-red true dragons. If one didn't work, he would summon 2. The path was very long. Lu Ming walked for thousands of miles before he reached the end. As for Lu Ming, several divine nine-dragon cauldrons had already been awakened. At the end of the road was a huge wasteland, and in the center of the wasteland was a huge mountain. Roar! Roar! Dragon roars reverberated through the world. So many, Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He saw many blood-red true dragons swimming in the wilderness. At a glance, one could not tell how many there were. Their auras varied in strength. Some of them were 1-star heavenly emperors, while some of them were even 6-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming was not shocked. Instead, he was happy. In Lu Ming's eyes, all these blood-red true dragons were treasures. These blood-red true dragons were simply killing stars to others. For example, to the foreign races, they were terrifying killing stars. The strongest of the foreign kinds was only a 6-star heavenly emperor. If they rushed here, they would probably die. No wonder there are no foreign races on the right side. It's so dangerous. Ha ha ha. At the thought of this, Lu Ming burst out laughing. In Lu Ming's eyes, these true dragons were all tonics for the divine nine-dragon cauldron. If the divine nine-dragon cauldron was fully awakened, Lu Ming would definitely be able to unleash its full power with his current cultivation. When the blood-red true dragons saw Lu Ming, they roared and pounced toward him. Lu Ming smiled and rushed over as well. The moment he rushed out, a huge cauldron flew out from his brow. A total of 9 cauldrons floated in the air, emitting a dazzling light. Then, they condensed into the figure of 9 dragons. They opened their mouths and burst out with a powerful devouring power. The devouring power enveloped those blood-red true dragons. Those below the 6-star heavenly emperor level had no power to fight back at all. They directly turned into blood-red light and flew into the mouths of the 9 dragons, turning into energy to activate the Divine Nine Dragon Cauldron. The 9 Divine Nine Dragon Cauldrons glowed, and their auras became stronger and stronger. The dragon-shaped carvings on them seemed to come alive. Soon, the blood-colored true dragons in this area were all devoured. Lu Ming immediately shifted his focus to devouring the blood-colored true dragons in other areas. If the few alien races knew that Lu Ming had such a great time in this place, they would probably die of anger. Lu Ming kept running and devouring the blood-colored true dragons. In just a few hours, he had devoured more than half of the blood-colored true dragons. The reason why it took him a few hours was that the blood-red true dragons, which were equivalent to 6-star Heavenly Emperor realm experts, could still resist and were relatively difficult to deal with. Boom! Just as Lu Ming was about to continue controlling the Divine Nine Dragon Cauldron to devour the blood-red true dragon, the mountain in the middle of the wilderness suddenly shook. Then, it emitted a bright blood-red light. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon's roar came from the mountain, shaking the earth. There are true dragons in this mountain too. Wait, this mountain can't be a huge tomb, a true dragon's tomb. Lu Ming could not help but guess. And the more he looked like it. It was very likely that an extremely powerful true dragon was buried in this mountain. Many years after its death, the dragon's soul spread out and turned into many blood-red true dragons. This was highly possible. The Divine Nine Dragon Cauldron was resurrected after devouring such a dragon soul. Roar! The dragon's roar from the mountain became louder and louder. Then, it emitted a piercing blood-red light. A huge blood-red true dragon rushed out of the mountain, emitting a powerful and shocking aura. Peak 7-star Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. This blood-red true dragon's aura had already reached the peak of the Heavenly Emperor realm. It was extremely terrifying. I don't know how many years it has been since its death, but its remaining dragon soul has already reached the peak of the Celestial Emperor realm. This true dragon couldn't have been a powerful existence at the martial god realm when it was alive, could it? Lu Ming guessed and was secretly shocked. Roar! At this moment, the 9 dragons also roared, and the 9 Divine Nine Dragon Cauldrons emitted a brilliant light. The 9 illusory dragons pounced directly at the blood-red true dragon at the peak of the Heavenly Emperor realm. The blood-red true dragon also pounced at the 9 illusory dragons. The 2 huge dragons intertwined in the air and fought fiercely. A vast dragon might spread in all directions. The other blood-red true dragons lay on the ground and didn't dare to move. The 2 giant dragons were locked in a fierce battle. It wasn't that the combat strength of the 9 dragon shadows was so strong that they could be compared to a peak Heavenly Emperor. It wasn't like that. However, the 9 dragons seemed to be born to restrain their opponents, or rather, to restrain the dragon souls. That was why the 2 of them were locked in a fierce battle. This battle was a long and fierce battle. This was because once the blood-red true dragon was destroyed, it would reform. However, every time the other party was defeated, the 9 dragons would take the opportunity to devour some of the other party's dragon souls. However, there was an endless supply of dragon souls coming in from the mountain. Therefore, the blood-red true dragon was always in its peak state as it fought with the 9 dragons. This battle lasted for a full month. Lu Ming was speechless. He might as well cultivate at the side. However, after a month of fighting, the 9 dragons finally gained the upper hand. That was because there was finally no more dragon soul to replenish the mountain. Without any replenishment, every time the other party was defeated by the 9 dragons and devoured a part of it, he would become weaker and weaker. In the end, the true dragon was defeated by the 9 dragons. It turned into wisps of light and was completely devoured by the 9 dragons. Buzz! After devouring the true dragon, the Divine Nine Dragon Cauldron shook violently. It was dazzling, and its aura reached its peak. The Divine Nine Dragon Cauldron had completely recovered. Lu Ming could control it with a single thought. What a terrifying power! Lu Ming controlled the divine nine-dragon cauldron. He was overjoyed when he felt the power emanating from it. He felt that if he controlled the nine-dragon cauldrons at the same time, he might be able to burst out the power of a peak heavenly emperor. Lu Ming was overjoyed. This meant that with the divine nine-dragon cauldron, he could fight a peak heavenly emperor. Continue. Lu Ming controlled the divine nine-dragon cauldron to continue devouring the remaining blood-red true dragons. Not long after, the blood-red true dragons on the wilderness were all devoured by the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Not a single one was left. Chapter 2487 Nine cauldrons showing their might. On the other side of the wasteland, there was also a road. It kept going forward, and no one knew where it led. Lu Ming did not hesitate and stepped on the road. He was much more confident now. With the help of the divine nine-dragon cauldron, he was not afraid even if he encountered a peak heavenly emperor. Now, the only threats to Lu Ming were the unrivaled powerhouses and the martial arts god. However, there were too few of them. The only martial gods left were the non-human divine ancestor and the ancestral dragon. There were not many martial emperor powerhouses either. For example, both the primal chaos god monarch and the undying god monarch had fallen. There were not many people like him in both the heaven realm and the evil god realm who were half a step into the martial god realm. According to what Lu Ming knew, this time around, neither the heaven realm nor the evil god tribe had such people come in and were guarding outside. Of course, this was only on the surface. Lu Ming was not sure if there were such people in the dark. He continued to advance, but the path he took after that was completely devoid of danger. It was calm and peaceful. Lu Ming had advanced at least a few thousand miles. Lu Ming was somewhat speechless. Although the castle looked huge from the outside, it was not that exaggerated. After entering, he realized that the space inside was shockingly large. Space technology was probably used. After a few thousand miles, the road became narrower, and only a few people could walk side by side. After traveling another 1,000 miles, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. A door had appeared in front of him. It was the end. Lu Ming strode forward, using the divine nine-dragon cauldron to protect himself, and rushed into the door. Behind the door was a vast hall. The hall was filled with brilliant light. Lu Ming was stunned when he saw it. The source of the light in the hall was a ball of light. In the hall, there were balls of light. Each ball of light was dazzling, and there was a treasure in each ball of light. Yes, it was a treasure. Most of them were combat weapons. There were also some storage rings and bracelets. All of them were treasures, and there were hundreds of them. Ha ha ha, I'm rich. Lu Ming was ecstatic. He then flew up and grabbed a ball of light. Buzz. However, when Lu Ming approached the ball of light seemed to have a mind of its own and flew away. Don't even think about leaving. Lu Ming chuckled. His muscles trembled and his body burst out. The way of the master condensed into a big hand and grabbed at the ball of light. This time, the ball of light could not fly away and was caught in Lu Ming's hands. However, after grabbing the ball of light, Lu Ming did not take out the combat weapon inside because it was blocked. The ball of light seemed to be formed by the array on it. It would not be easy to take out the treasure inside. Refine. Lu Ming released his nominator's power and began to refine the ball of light. Fortunately, the defensive power of the ball of light was not that strong. After a few minutes, Lu Ming had refined it. A long spear-like combat weapon fell into Lu Ming's hands. It's only equivalent to a great emperor weapon. Lu Ming took a look and was a little disappointed. This long spear was only equivalent to a great emperor weapon. It was not of much use to Lu Ming. However, it was not a bad idea to bring it out for others to use. Lu Ming kept it. Next, Lu Ming grabbed another ball of light. This ball of light was also a combat weapon, a combat sword. After Lu Ming caught it, he refined it for a few minutes before he took out his combat sword. They're equivalent to Heaven Dao soldiers. This time, Lu Ming was overjoyed. This combat sword was actually equivalent to a Heaven Dao soldier. It was filled with layers of strange arrays. Lu Ming injected energy into it and waved the combat sword, unleashing a shocking power. Weapons that were equivalent to the Heaven Dao soldiers were priceless. Lu Ming had not obtained many of them so far. Even if Lu Ming did not use it himself, he could bring it out and give it to the celestial arch in the heaven realm to use. It could greatly improve the combat power in the heaven realm. After obtaining a Heaven Dao soldier-level combat weapon, Lu Ming's heart burned with passion. He continued to grab other orbs of light. Next, Lu Ming caught dozens of light orbs in succession. However, there weren't many heaven soldiers. There were 5 of them among the 30 light balls, and the rest were all emperor-level weapons. In addition, the storage rings and bracelets were all made up of divine stones. A large number of godstones. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He had really struck it rich this time. There were more than 30 light orbs and 5 weapons of the heavenly Dao soldier level. Lu Ming was already very satisfied. There were a few hundred balls of light here, so wouldn't there be a few dozen Heaven Dao soldier level weapons? If word of this got out, it would scare people to death. Also, with a large number of divine stones, Lu Ming would not have to worry about resources for a long time. Lu Ming was even more excited to collect the light orbs. At this moment, in another direction of the hall, dozens of figures flickered and rushed in from behind a door. The evil god race. They were all from the evil god race that Lu Ming had encountered previously. It seemed that after so much effort, these foreign races had finally opened up the path on the left, and the 2 paths on the left and right led to this hall. The moment these evil god race members saw the balls of light in the hall, their eyes shone with a fiery light. The moment they saw Lu Ming, their fiery glow turned into a cold killing intent. It's Lu Ming. Damn it, he's not dead. The 6-star heavenly emperor of the foreign race roared. Lu Ming entered the path on the right. He did not die and had entered this place earlier than them. They were extremely puzzled. However, they did not think much about it now because they saw Lu Ming collecting the treasures. Their eyes were red. They had worked hard for a few months, and in their eyes, these treasures were all theirs. Kill him. The 6-star celestial arch of the alien race shouted coldly. He held his saber and took the lead in attacking Lu Ming. The cold gleam of the blade slashed at Lu Ming. At the same time, the other alien races also attacked Lu Ming, trying to kill him. I was going to find you after I collected all these treasures. Now that you've come here, I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming said indifferently. With a single thought, the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons flew out. Buzz. The divine 9-dragon cauldron trembled and emitted a terrifying aura, which pressed down on the dozens of alien races. Not good. Feeling the power of the divine 9-dragon cauldron, the 6-star heavenly emperor realm alien was shocked. He unleashed his full power and turned his attack into a defense. However, the other alien races didn't react as quickly. Boom! When the divine 9-dragon cauldron came crashing down, the bodies of the foreign kinds with weaker cultivation bases exploded. Even a 5-star heavenly emperor was torn apart by the vast power of the divine 9-dragon cauldron and died on the spot. Only the 6-star heavenly emperor did not die, but he was seriously injured and retreated while spitting out blood. The divine 9-dragon cauldron's power was equivalent to a peak great emperor's power. How could these non-humans block it? Run! The non-human 6-star heavenly emperor turned around and fled without thinking. But it was too late. The 9 cauldrons expanded rapidly and suppressed all directions, shrouding him within. No! The alien roared and slashed out with his saber, sending out hundreds of saber lights. Chapter 2488 Great Harvest. This alien was indeed very strong. He had the cultivation base of a 6-star heavenly emperor, and the saber in his hand was also a heavenly Tao soldier. However, the divine nine-dragon cauldron was no ordinary heaven Tao soldier. The ancestral dragon had told Lu Ming before that the divine nine-dragon cauldron was refined by the ancestral dragon for the 9 dragons. It had taken both the ancestral dragon and the 9 dragons' painstaking efforts. In the end, the 9 dragons had used it to suppress the passage. It was no trivial matter, and its power was far beyond that of an ordinary Heaven Tao soldier. In fact, it had already surpassed the category of Heaven Tao soldiers. Clang! 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 The 6-star celestial thearch saber kept hitting the divine 9-dragon cauldron, causing sparks to fly and the cauldron to shake. However, every time he collided with the divine 9-dragon cauldron, the 6-star heavenly emperor's body would shake. A powerful force blasted toward him, causing him to suffer heavy injuries. After hundreds of collisions, pfft, the other party spat out a large mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on his body, and fresh blood seeped out. Lu Ming, this time, our clan's divine ancestor and the murderous heart divine ancestor will definitely recover to their peak. At that time, the heaven realm will be destroyed, and you will die without a burial place. The foreign celestial thearch roared. Console yourself and go on your way. Lu Ming said coldly. He tried his best to control the divine 9-dragon cauldron and bombarded it one after another. In the end, the 6-star heavenly emperor couldn't hold on any longer. His body cracked and then exploded, and his body and spirit were destroyed. With a wave of his hand, he kept the alien storage bracelet. Lu Ming was not in a hurry to collect the treasures. Instead, he rushed toward the passageway that the alien had just come in from. He would first kill all the alien races and then collect the treasures. When they arrived at the passage, they saw blood-red true dragons wandering around. However, their numbers were much fewer than the ones on the right, and none of them were too strong. It was no wonder that the foreign races were able to rush over. Lu Ming did not hold back. He controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and devoured all the blood-red true dragons. He followed the path and walked outside. Indeed, there were some alien races guarding the place. They had all been killed by Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming returned to the hall and began to collect the light orbs. After spending a few days, Lu Ming finally put away all the treasures in the light orbs. There were 35 Heaven Tao soldier-level weapons and the rest were emperor-level weapons. There were also a large number of divine stones. Lu Ming did not count them as they would be enough for a while. Especially the 35 Heaven Tao soldier-grade treasures. If he brought them out, it would probably cause a huge commotion. Although this netherworld mountain is dangerous, it also comes with opportunities. Lu Ming sighed. I wonder how little Qing, Bubbles, Dandan, and Foam Ling are doing. Lu Ming thought of Xian Yanqing and the rest. He could not help but feel worried. This Yellow Springs world could be said to be extremely dangerous. Not only did they have to face the alien races, but they also had to face the experts of the Yellow Springs world. If they were not careful, they would be in danger of dying. Xian Yanqing and Dandan were both at the Heavenly Emperor realm. As for Bubbles, Long Chen, Feng Ling, and the others, their cultivation levels were still low. There were also his 2 disciples. If they were to encounter the other party's Heavenly Emperor, they would probably be in danger. All of this would depend on luck. The vast netherworld mountain was huge and boundless. It was as big as the 9 heaven domains of the heaven realm combined. There were hundreds of forces in the various countries. In addition, there were also large areas of wilderness. There were many wilderness areas that were inaccessible to humans, but there were also cursed lands. There was a huge lake. The water in the lake was pitch black, and it emitted a shocking demonic qi. A figure suddenly appeared here. It was Xian Yanqing. Xie Nianking's lips curled into a smile. He stepped into the lake and disappeared. In another place, in the middle of the mountain range, a mountain range suddenly split open. Gravel flew everywhere, and smoke and dust filled the air. When the dust settled, a huge tomb appeared in the direction of the crack in the mountain range. It was extremely huge and exuded a vast pressure. A figure rushed out from the rubble. "Ha ha ha, I knew there would be a huge tomb here. The treasures in this tomb will be mine." The figure laughed and rushed into the tomb. In another direction, there was a strange terrain. The ground here was filled with passages that were connected to each other like a beehive. Two figures appeared at the entrance of a tunnel. The two figures were Lu Ming's two disciples, Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Moli. "I didn't expect that there would be a cursed land in this barren mountain. Senior sister, should we go down and explore?" Ouyang Moli asked. The two of them were lucky. They didn't expect to meet each other not long after entering Netherworld Mountain. "Since we're here, of course we have to go in," Lu Xiangxiang said. "Ho ho." At this moment, a strong wind suddenly blew in the honeycomb-like caves, and a terrifying suction force gushed out. Not good. Lu Xiangxiang and Ouyang Moli were about to escape, but it was too late. They were swept into the cave by the force. In other places, many people had their own fortuitous encounters and entered some wondrous places. The people of Netherworld Mountain could not enter these places. For example, Huang Ling, Long Chen, and the others had met the top experts of the Heaven Realm. They had explored a few cursed lands with them. Of course, there were also those who were unlucky and met with alien races, and were killed by them. Or, they were killed by the local experts of Netherworld Mountain. Of course, there were also alien races who were killed by the Heaven Realm experts. Lu Ming, for example, had killed many alien races after entering Netherworld Mountain. After Lu Ming kept all the treasures, he strolled around the hall. There were a few large doors in the hall. There were two large doors. They were the doors that Lu Ming and the rest had entered from. Lu Ming explored the rest one by one. However, these doors led to other side halls, and there was nothing to gain from those side halls. Very soon, there was only the last door left that Lu Ming had not explored. Lu Ming walked in. He went through many passages and arrived at a small hall. This hall was also empty, with only a statue. Lu Ming's eyes lit up at the sight of the statue. This was because this statue was exactly the same as the statue that Lu Ming had seen in the legacy site in the country of Feng Ming. Furthermore, this statue also exuded a ruler's will that was many times stronger than the one in the country of Feng Ming. Could it be that there's a statue like this in every cursed land? Lu Ming's eyes were burning with passion. To Lu Ming, the nominator's intent on the statue was more precious than anything else. It would allow Lu Ming's understanding of the way of the master to deepen rapidly. Comprehension. Lu Ming sat cross-legged in front of the statue and began to comprehend. Lu Ming circulated the path of domination and resonated with the statue. The statue emitted a strong domineering aura that enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming began to study it carefully. The ruler's will on this statue was much stronger than the one in the country of Feng Ming, so it would take much more time to comprehend it. Lu Ming spent 2 years in comprehension. Chapter 2489 Searching for the Cursed Land. In 2 years' time, Lu Ming had completely comprehended the will of domination on the statue. Lu Ming's understanding of the path of domination had improved greatly. However, Lu Ming felt that he was still a little short of breaking through to 5 stars Great Emperor. Although the sovereign intent on this statue was very strong, even stronger than the one in the country of Feng Ming, it was still very strong. However, as one's cultivation level increased, every breakthrough would be more difficult and the requirements would be higher. When the ruler's intent on the statue was completely comprehended, the statue cracked like the one in the country of Feng Ming. It was covered in cracks, and finally exploded with a bang. It exploded. Lu Ming was filled with anticipation and ran up to take a look. In the country of Fengming, the statue had exploded. There was a fiery red fruit growing under the statue. After Lu Ming refined it, his physical body had a breakthrough. What would it be this time? There was nothing. When Lu Ming went up to take a look, he realized that there was a flat floor under the statue. There was nothing. Lu Ming was indignant. He searched the area carefully but still did not find anything. I was too greedy. Lu Ming touched his nose and smiled bitterly. It seemed that it was pure coincidence that there was a fiery red fruit growing under the statue in Fengming. Moreover, he had gained a lot this time. Lu Ming was satisfied. It's been more than 2 years. It's time to leave. Lu Ming smiled and left the place. After arriving at the platform outside, Lu Ming's body began to transform rapidly with a single thought. In the end, he turned into a purple-haired royal member of the evil god tribe. A third eye appeared between his brows. Lu Ming swaggered out of the cursed land. A group of Dragonians was still standing guard outside the cursed land. He's out. The group of Dragonians perked up when they saw Lu Ming. After all, it had been 2 years, and there had been no movement from the cursed lands. They had thought that all of the evil god race members had died in there. How is it? What did you find in there? A group of Dragonians surrounded Lu Ming after he came out. Everyone, we've encountered a troublesome matter inside. We don't have enough manpower, and another group of experts from my clan has arrived. I'm going to go and help. Lu Ming said. So that's how it is, then go. The Dragonians did not suspect him and let Lu Ming go. Lu Ming left this place easily and found a hidden place. He transformed into a Dragon Man and swaggered to the capital of the Dragon Man Kingdom. In the Dragon Man Kingdom's capital, Lu Ming began to collect a large number of materials related to the cursed land. If there was a statue in every cursed land, it would be of great use to Lu Ming. He might be able to cultivate his ruler Dao to an extremely high level in Netherworld Mountain. To Lu Ming, time was the only thing he was lacking. After all, Lu Ming had only been cultivating for less than 200 years. To the Celestial the Arch who had been cultivating for hundreds of thousands or millions of years, it was just a fraction of the total. If the foreign race's divine ancestor managed to obtain a healing treasure on this trip to Netherworld Mountain, the final battle would be upon them. Before that, Lu Ming had to make the best use of his time and improve quickly. Lu Ming had stayed in the capital of the Dragon Man Empire for 2 months. He had read a large number of ancient books and records about the cursed lands. There were many cursed lands in Netherworld Mountain. Some were located in important places such as near the capital of Fengming Country and the Dragon Man Empire. These places were usually guarded by experts from the native living beings of Netherworld Mountain. As for the cursed lands in the wild, because they were too isolated and the locals could not enter, they were rarely visited by people and were often left unattended. Lu Ming's target was the cursed lands in the wild. Let's go to Yanming Mountain. Lu Ming confirmed his target and left the capital of the Dragon Man Empire. After traveling more than 100,000 miles, he transformed into his true form and summoned Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the rest from the small world. Senior 6 saints, I'm going to Yanming Mountain next. Lu Ming told him his goal. Well, go with you. The Celestial said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. The group moved together and headed towards Yanming Shan. Blazing Mountain was extremely remote and was located in the wilderness. There were very few people there, but there was a cursed place, Blazing Mountain. After flying for tens of millions of miles, they arrived at the Yanming Underground Palace. However, they were attacked the moment they entered. This underground palace had a type of puppet that was covered in flames and was very powerful. The group broke through all the way in. This underground palace should not have been plundered by anyone. Everyone had obtained many good things. However, compared to Lu Ming's gains in the Dragon People Empire, these were considered small. Lu Ming saw another statue in the depths of the underground palace. Who exactly is the owner of this statue? There's a statue in every cursed land. Could it be the master of Netherworld Mountain? Lu Ming guessed in his heart. Moreover, this statue also had a strong sense of domination. However, compared to the statue in the cursed land of the Dragonman Empire, it was not much different. Lu Ming spent some time and completely understood it. The statue also shattered, but there was still nothing under the statue. After that, they left the Yanming underground palace and headed to the next cursed land. In the following days, Lu Ming and the rest went to various cursed lands in the wilderness. Some of them had some gains, but some of them were empty. Obviously, they had been plundered. However, to Lu Ming, every cursed land was a treasure trove. This was because there was a statue in every cursed land. Heavenly venerate 6 saints and the rest knew that the statue would be of great use to Lu Ming. Therefore, they waited patiently in every cursed zone. Moreover, they had encountered alien races in some of the cursed lands and fought them. However, with Lu Ming's current combat strength, he could easily defeat those alien races. Just like that, time passed by quickly. In the blink of an eye, 20 years had passed. In the past 20 years, Lu Ming and the rest had explored no less than 20 cursed lands. Unfortunately, many of the statues in the cursed lands did not have a strong dominator's will. Lu Ming could easily comprehend them, but it did not improve his Tao of domination much. Even so, Lu Ming's cultivation level had improved and he had become a 5-star great emperor. Lu Ming's abilities had also improved. Now that Lu Ming had unleashed his full power, the combination of the way of domination and his physical body was enough to rival a 6-star heavenly emperor. I still need to find some large cursed lands. Lu Ming was deep in thought as he sat cross-legged under a statue in the cursed land. Over the years, Lu Ming had come to a conclusion. In a small-scale cursed land, the dominator's aura on the statue was relatively thin. The larger it was, the stronger the dominator's intent was and the more useful it was to Lu Ming. Chapter 2490 Situation changes. However, many of those large-scale cursed lands were in the hands of some major forces. For example, those forces with invincible powerhouses. Also, the most powerful force in Netherworld Mountain, the Netherworld Empire, was the most cursed land. Without a doubt, the Yellow Springs Empire was the ruler of the Yellow Springs world and the only force with a god. Moreover, there was more than one deity who commanded the entire Yellow Springs world. It could be said that all the forces in the Yellow Springs world were vassals of the Yellow Springs Empire. The Yellow Springs Empire. At the thought of the Yellow Springs Empire, Lu Ming was filled with anticipation. He had checked the records before and knew that the most cursed land in the Yellow Springs world was in the Yellow Springs Empire. It was said that there was a life fruit in the cursed land that could heal even the most severe injuries. Even if it was a god, it would have great effects. Moreover, there were other treasures inside. Lu Ming reckoned that the ancestral dragon and the divine ancestor of the non-human race would definitely go to the Yellow Springs Empire because only the fruit of life there could heal their injuries. However, that place wasn't a place he could go to right now. It would be a waste to go there against an existence like the foreign race's divine ancestor. It was better to focus on improving his strength first. Lu Ming closed his eyes and meditated on the will of domination on the statue before him. The dominator's intent from the statue was very faint. Lu Ming spent less than a month to fully comprehend it. After searching for a while and finding nothing else, Lu Ming met up with Sixth Saint and headed outside. After leaving the ruins, they chose a direction and flew off. Wait! After flying for a while, Lu Ming suddenly spoke and then stopped. The others also stopped. No, this area is too quiet. The experienced heavenly venerate 6 sages immediately sensed that something was amiss. This area was completely silent, as if there were no living beings, not even insects. Something was definitely wrong. At this moment, a large number of figures flashed in all directions and surrounded Lu Ming and the rest. Some of them were at the Great Emperor realm and some were at the Heavenly Emperor realm. All of them were glaring at Lu Ming and the rest with cold killing intent. "Everyone, who are you? Why are you surrounding us?" Lu Ming asked. "The person who will kill you." A cold voice rang out, and two figures walked out of the crowd. Evil God Tribe. Lu Ming, 6 sages, and the others were stunned when they saw the two of them. Lu Ming. When the two members of the Evil God Tribe looked at Lu Ming, their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. "Kill them." One of the Evil God Tribe members gave the order. Buzz. Buzz. Whoosh. Immediately, the experts moved and charged towards Lu Ming and the rest. Hundreds of attacks were about to drown them. The strongest is the 5-star Heavenly Emperor. As soon as these people attacked, Lu Ming could determine their strength. The strongest were the 5-star Heavenly Emperors. There were only 2 of them. The others were all below the 5-star Heavenly Emperor. Lu Ming immediately summoned the Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron. The 9 Divine 9-Dragon Cauldrons floated around him and blocked all the attacks. Then, with a shake, they blasted in all directions. The Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron was so powerful that these people couldn't block it. The terrifying power blasted out, and screams rang out. These people's bodies exploded one by one. Even the 2 5-star Heavenly Emperors were the same. Their bodies exploded and they died on the spot. The 2 1-star Heavenly Emperors from the Evil God race had even weaker cultivation bases, but they were also killed instantly. Lu Ming dashed past them and kept all the storage rings. "Let's go," Lu Ming said. Everyone left the place at top speed and flew north. However, their expressions were grave along the way. Apart from the 2 members of the Evil God race, the rest of the people from earlier were obviously natives. Could it be that some major power had been controlled by the Evil God race, so they had sent people to guard the cursed lands and hunt down the Heaven Realm's experts? That was their guess. They flew all the way, and 2 days later, they arrived near another cursed land. However, they saw a massacre near the cursed land. A group of people was besieging more than a dozen Heaven Realm experts. Moreover, those Heaven Realm masters were obviously at a disadvantage. There were already 7 or 8 corpses on the ground, some of which were from the human clan, and some from the Divine Beast clan. The ones who surrounded the Heaven Realm experts were obviously natives. However, they saw a few Evil God tribesmen among them. "Kill!" Lu Ming and the rest did not hesitate and charged out. Lu Ming's control of the Divine 9-Dragon Cauldron was equivalent to that of a peak Heavenly Emperor. There was no suspense in the battle. Lu Ming had completely annihilated these people and a few members of the Evil God tribe. Many thanks. The Heaven Realm experts were overjoyed to have survived the disaster and thanked Lu Ming and the others. "Everyone, what's going on?" Lu Ming asked. "We don't know either." They had just finished exploring this cursed land and left the cursed land for a short distance before they were surrounded. One of the men said. "The situation is the same." Lu Ming furrowed his eyebrows. For the past 2 days, they had been hurrying on their journey. They had already left the territory of the previous force and arrived at another force. However, this force's actions were the same as the previous forces. Could it be that the surrounding major forces were all controlled by the Evil God tribe? Or was he working with the Evil God race? Lu Ming had a bad feeling in his heart. After that, everyone gathered and left the place together. A day later, they arrived at the vicinity of a huge city. However, there were people checking the city gates around the city. "Let's go and take a look." After discussing, Lu Ming and the rest changed their appearances, concealed their aura, and walked toward a city gate. "All of you, when you enter the city, you must pass through this door, understand?" One of the Tauren widened his eyes and chided. Lu Ming discovered that there was a pitch-black door outside the city gate. It was not big and there were many strange lines carved on it. Everyone who wanted to enter the city had to pass through this door. Buzz! Suddenly, when a white-haired old man passed through the door emitted a brilliant light. The aura of the heaven realm, kill him. A cold shout rang out. Then, experts pounced out from all directions. So many experts. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. 2 5-star heavenly emperors and 1 6-star heavenly emperor instantly rushed out. The white-haired old man shouted and retreated, but it was too late. Bang! Bang! A few attacks landed on the white-haired old man, killing him directly. Lu Ming and the rest could not help but stop in their tracks. Damn it! It's the evil god race. Someone growled. However, he kept his voice low and didn't let it out. It's definitely the evil god tribe. The door they created can detect the heaven realm aura on our bodies. The celestial said. Chapter 2491 Great battle against Duo Lei. A person's aura could be concealed, but the aura of the world was hard to conceal. What was the aura of the world? For example, if one was born in the heaven realm or the primordial realm and cultivated in these two worlds for a long time, comprehending the nomological laws of the two worlds and absorbing the original chi of the two worlds, one's body would naturally carry the aura of the two worlds. This kind of aura was contained in the essence of life and was very difficult to conceal or remove. This was the essence of the world. After the old man entered the door, he was detected to have the aura of the heaven realm and was killed. Who would specifically search for living beings from the heaven realm? It was definitely the evil god tribe. It was obvious that the evil god tribe had created this gate. Anyone who wanted to enter the city would be detected to have the aura of the heaven realm. The people from the evil god world or netherworld mountain did not have the aura of the heaven realm. Let's go. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to everyone and then turned to leave silently. The group left the place, and 2 days later, they arrived at another large city. However, they found that there were also people checking in this big city, and there were also gates that could detect the aura of the people of the heaven realm. They left silently. In the next half a month, they traveled a long distance and passed by 5 to 6 forces and 7 to 8 big cities. But it was the same. All the forces and all the cities had people checking. What's going on? Could it be that all the powerful forces have been controlled by the evil god tribe? Someone growled, his eyes red. Lu Ming and the rest also looked grave. The premonition in their hearts grew stronger. This is troublesome. Looking at the current situation, it seemed like the evil god race was controlling all of them. If this went on, the beings of the heaven realm would lose countless experts. Furthermore, there were some important cursed lands that they could not enter. They were all going to be taken over by the evil god tribe. What do we do now? Someone asked. If they went to the cursed lands, they would be ambushed by the enemy, and they could not enter some of the important cities. Now, where should he go? To the Yellow Springs Empire. Lu Ming said. The Yellow Springs Empire? The other people's faces changed. The Yellow Springs Empire was the most powerful force in the Yellow Springs world. It had more than one god and many experts. Moreover, the biggest cursed land was in the Yellow Spring Empire. The ancestral dragon and the non-human divine ancestor would probably rush to the Yellow Spring Empire. These people were not enough to go to the Yellow Spring Empire. Yes, to the Yellow Springs Empire. I have a feeling that something has happened there. Otherwise, why do the surrounding forces all listen to the evil god tribe's orders? Lu Ming frowned. Alright, let's go. Alright. The others all nodded. They immediately flew in the direction of the Yellow Springs Empire. They specifically flew to remote places and did not pass by those big cities. Boom! Boom! After flying for a few days, they suddenly heard a violent roar from ahead. Clang! There was a terrifying collision. They saw a long spear shoot up into the sky as if it was going to pierce through the firmament. At the same time, a huge battle axe appeared, crossing the sky and colliding with the long spear. Even though they were far away, they could still feel the terrifying pressure. This is. The peak heavenly emperors are fighting. The faces of heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others changed drastically. Buzz. At this moment, a bull's roar reverberated through the world. The world shook and many mountains exploded. The Titanos, Lu Ming exclaimed in shock. Lu Ming would not have misheard the Titan longhorn beetle's voice. He had heard it a few times. It was obvious that the Titan longhorn and the others had encountered a powerful enemy. Let's go. Without any hesitation, Lu Ming flew forward. Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others also flew forward. After flying for some distance, they finally saw the scene in front of them. Lu Ming saw the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm. There were more than 50 people from the heaven realm. However, they were surrounded by a group of people. Among them, there were experts from the evil god tribe and Netherworld Mountain. There were more than 100 of them, which was double the number of experts from the heaven realm. The heavenly realm was completely focused on defense. On the heaven realm side, the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm weren't the strongest. They had yet to recover from their serious injuries and only had the battle prowess of a 5-star heavenly emperor and a 6-star heavenly emperor respectively. On the heaven realm side, there was a burly man in battle armor holding a spear. His combat strength was unparalleled, and he was a peak heavenly emperor. However, the other party also had a peak heavenly emperor. Duo Lei. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The peak heavenly emperor was actually Duo Lei, the one who guarded the eternal cage in the evil god realm. He and the armored man from the heaven realm were locked in a fierce battle. However, the other people in the heaven realm were at a disadvantage. This was because the evil god tribe had a total of 9 6-star heavenly emperors. Experts of this level were completely above the heaven realm. The Titan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, and several other heaven realm experts were all defending with all their might, but they were still at a disadvantage. If this continued, defeat was only a matter of time. Charge out. The Titan longhorn beetle roared and transformed into its true form. Its horns were as sharp as blades as it charged forward. However, he had been severely injured in the past and was only a 5-star heavenly emperor now. He was forced to retreat by a 6-star heavenly emperor with one move. There were too many experts on the other side, and they were completely unable to charge out. Titan longhorn and 9 lives devilish silkworm, you were lucky enough to survive the ancient battle. This time, they'll send you on your way. Attack with all your might and kill them as soon as possible. Duo Lei said coldly. The others' attacks became even more violent. At this moment, Lu Ming and the rest were rushing over. Many people could not help but look at Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming, it's you. After seeing Lu Ming, Duo Lei let out an angry roar. His cold killing intent seemed to be able to freeze the world. Back then, he had been guarding the eternal cage but Lu Ming had escaped with a group of people. This had caused him to be punished by the higher-ups of the evil god tribe. Not only that, but he was also laughed at by the other members of the evil god tribe. It should be known that no one had ever escaped from the eternal cage since ancient times. However, during the time when Duo Lei was guarding the place, someone had managed to escape, and so many experts had escaped. All of this was Lu Ming's fault. It was all Lu Ming's fault. Duo Lei regarded this as a great humiliation and was thinking of how to settle scores with Lu Ming every day. At this moment, when he saw Lu Ming, he was really envious. As for the Titan longhorn and the 9 lives devilish silkworm, their expressions changed drastically when they saw Lu Ming. Lu Ming, let's go. The Titanos roared. There were too many experts on the other side. Lu Ming's current cultivation level was still weak. If he charged forward, he would simply be courting death. It's too late to leave now. Let me send him on his way. A 6-star heavenly emperor from the evil god tribe laughed and charged at Lu Ming. Kill. Lu Ming did not retreat at all. He controlled the divine 9-dragon cauldron and blasted it at his opponent. Boom. The divine 9-dragon cauldron pressed down, and a terrifying power burst out, crushing the other party. Chapter 2492, Unknown Fate of the Ancestral Dragon. The power of the 9 divine 9-dragon cauldrons was equivalent to that of a peak heavenly emperor. It was terrifying. The attack of the evil god race member was instantly destroyed. After being struck by the terrifying power, his body trembled violently and he retreated rapidly while spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. Everyone was shocked. A 6-star heavenly emperor was actually repelled by Lu Ming in one move and spat out a large mouthful of blood. How was this possible? Lu Ming was so powerful. Even the Titan longhorn beetle blinked its huge eyes, thinking that it was seeing things. Kill! Lu Ming shouted as he forced his opponent to retreat. He continued to control the divine 9-dragon cauldron to attack his opponent. Quickly come and help me. The evil god race member was shocked and retreated frantically. Buzz! Buzz! At that moment, 3 more people charged at Lu Ming. The 3 of them were all 6-star heavenly emperors. In addition to the evil god tribe, there were a total of 4 6-star heavenly emperors. 2 members of the evil god tribe, 2 natives. The 4 of them unleashed their full power and attacked together, unleashing a terrifying attack. Boom! Boom! The 4 6-star heavenly emperors' attacks hit the divine 9-dragon cauldron one after another. The divine 9-dragon cauldron kept shaking, but the 4 powerhouses were also forced to retreat and almost spit blood. Peak heavenly emperor. One of them said with a grave expression. Lu Ming's combat strength was already equivalent to a peak heavenly emperor. Kill. Lu Ming continued to control the divine 9-dragon cauldron, blasting it at the other party continuously. The 9 divine cauldrons resonated with each other. The roars of dragons reverberated, and the power was extremely strong. The other party had 4 6-star heavenly emperors, but they were still no match for him. They were suppressed by Lu Ming and kept retreating. At this moment, Heavenly Venerate 6 sages and the others had already arrived and were attacking the other party. It was difficult to tell who was stronger. This way, the pressure on the heaven realm would be greatly reduced. Good, good. The Titan longhorn beetle laughed as it charged forward with all its might. His strength was really amazing. Even though he was only a 5-star heavenly emperor, he could still fight a 6-star heavenly emperor for a while. Boom! Boom! After a series of collisions, the other party had to retreat with each collision. Lu Ming had the upper hand. Pfft! Finally, the evil god tribe member who had been injured by Lu Ming could not take it anymore and spat out a large mouthful of blood. Come and help us! The evil god tribe member roared. There were a total of 9 6-star heavenly emperors. The other 2 wanted to rush over to help and attack Lu Ming together. However, the Titan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, and the others used all their strength to hold their opponent back. As a result, the battle turned into a stalemate. Lu Ming's side even had a slight upper hand. Damn it, damn it! Duo Lei roared, his face contorted. It was Lu Ming again. Lu Ming had destroyed it. Today, they could have killed the few Heaven Realm experts in one fell swoop. However, because of Lu Ming's appearance, the battle situation was now tilted. Lu Ming, die. Duo Lei's face was contorted in anger. He roared and launched an attack at Lu Ming, but it was blocked by the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Now that Lu Ming was controlling the divine nine-dragon cauldron, he was not afraid of Duo Lei's attack at all. Duo Lei, how have you been? No, you don't look good. Ha! Lu Ming laughed sarcastically. At the same time, he intensified his attacks, forcing the other party to retreat. The 4 6-star heavenly emperors could only block him for a short time, but they couldn't hold on for long. Retreat, retreat! Duo Lei bellowed and launched a frenzied attack. After exchanging a few moves with the armored burly man, he took the time to launch a few attacks at Lu Ming, blocking his divine nine-dragon cauldron. The 4 6-star heavenly emperors took the opportunity to retreat and join the other 5 6-star heavenly emperors. Lu Ming continued to attack. However, the other party did not linger in the battle and quickly retreated. Duo Lei had also shaken off his opponent and joined up with the rest of the evil god tribe members, retreating as they fought. The forces of Duo Lei and the rest were only slightly weaker than that of Lu Ming's group. If they were bent on retreating now, it would be difficult for Lu Ming's group to make them stay. After chasing for a while, Duo Lei and the others finally retreated. Lu Ming, I didn't expect your abilities to have reached such a level. It's all thanks to your help this time. The Titan Longhorn Beetle walked over to express its gratitude. Senior, you're too kind. I also relied on the divine nine-dragon cauldron. Lu Ming smiled and put away the divine nine-dragon cauldron. After that, everyone introduced themselves to each other. Lu Ming knew that the burly man in armor was called Zhanli. He was a top expert who rose to power after the ancient battle. He had a peak heavenly emperor cultivation base and had been cultivating in the lair of Zulong all this while. Seniors, do you know what happened? On our way here, we discovered that the local major powers seem to be working together with the evil god tribe. Lu Ming asked. Something big has happened. Zhanli sighed. The Titan Longhorn Beetle, the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and the others also had grave expressions. Lu Ming and the 6 sages were both shocked. Even powerhouses like the Titan Longhorn Beetle, who had seen many great things, were like this. What exactly had happened? The reason why the surrounding forces are all listening to the evil god tribe and cooperating with them to deal with the heaven realm is because of the order from the Yellow Spring Empire. The Titan Longhorn Beetle said. Yellow Springs Empire, it's really the Yellow Springs Empire. Senior, what happened to the Yellow Springs Empire? Lu Ming asked. The Yellow Springs world's biggest cursed land is within the Yellow Springs Empire. It's said that there's a life fruit inside that can cure even the most serious injuries. It can even cure the injuries of deities. However, if you want to enter the cursed land, you must get the help of the upper echelons of the Yellow Spring Empire. Therefore, Senior Ancestral Dragon and the non-human race's Saint Ancestor have come to the Yellow Spring Empire to cooperate with them. In this way, there will be competition. We've received news that Senior Ancestral Dragon was defeated. The divine ancestor of the non-human race has won the trust of the upper echelons of the Yellow Spring Empire. The Titanos explained. What? Lu Ming and the rest were shocked. Zulong had lost in the competition for the Yellow Springs Empire. They finally understood why the surrounding major forces would cooperate with the evil god tribe to deal with the people from the heaven realm. That was the order of the Yellow Springs Empire. Who in the Yellow Springs world dared to disobey the order of the Yellow Springs Empire? Then, Senior Ancestral Dragon, someone asked in a hoarse voice. His life and death is unknown, the Titan Longhorn Beetle said. Boom! 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 It was as if thunder had exploded in everyone's minds. His life and death were unknown. No one knew whether the ancestral dragon was dead or alive. This was an unbearable blow to any living being in the heaven realm. The ancestral dragon was the backbone of the heaven realm. Now, in the entire heaven realm and the primordial realm, only Zhu Long had reached the martial god realm. The evil god tribe, on the other hand, had the non-human sacred ancestor and the sacred ancestor Bloodheart, who only had a wisp of his bloodline left. Within the war god level, they had always been at a disadvantage, and they constantly felt a sense of danger. If something happened to the ancestral dragon, then there would be no hope for the heaven realm and the primordial realm. They wouldn't be a match for the evil god tribe and would be doomed to be destroyed. Heavenly venerate 6 sages and the others all looked desperate. Chapter 2493 Meeting Xie and Yenqing Degree. How could they fight this battle without the ancestral dragon? Senior ancestral dragon, you've experienced the ancient war. What kind of danger have you not encountered? Moreover, you're an expert in the martial god realm. We can't compare with you. I don't think Yao'll be in trouble so easily. Lu Ming said. I feel the same way. We don't have to worry fearlessly. What we have to do is to improve ourselves as much as possible and kill the evil god tribe. Zhang said. Although he said that, everyone's hearts were still weighed down by a huge stone that was difficult to let go. There was more than one god in the Yellow Springs Empire. If they worked with the non-human divine ancestor to deal with the ancestral dragon, the situation would be hard to say. After all, the ancestral dragon was still injured and not in his peak state. Lu Ming, where are you guys going? The Titan Longhorn Beetle asked. We were going to the Yellow Springs Empire to find out more about the situation. Now, I've decided to go to the imperial capital of the Yellow Springs Empire. Lu Ming said. To the Netherworld imperial capital? The expressions of the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the others changed. That's right. I want to find out more about Senior Ancestral Dragon. Anyway, we can't go to the other forces or other cursed lands. We might as well go to the Netherworld imperial capital. Lu Ming said. Instead of hiding and wasting time, he might as well go to the Yellow Springs Empire and find out the situation. Only by knowing the specific situation would they be able to respond better. However, the gates of the imperial capital of the Netherworld have been tampered with by the evil god tribe. As soon as we, the living beings of the heaven realm, approach, we will be discovered. There is no way we can enter the imperial capital of the Netherworld. Zhang sighed. Senior, I won't take risks easily. If I really can't get in, I'll stay near the Yellow Springs Empire and see if I can get anything. Lu Ming said. How about this, let's go together. The more people there are, the better we can look out for each other. The 9 Lives devilish silkworm rarely spoke. Alright, let's go together. Zhang, the Titan Longhorn Beetle, and the others all nodded their heads. That's good. Seniors, you can all enter my small world. It'll be more convenient for me to act alone. Lu Ming said. Alright. The others nodded. With a single thought, Lu Ming's small world appeared. Everyone turned into rays of light and entered Lu Ming's small world. After that, Lu Ming changed his appearance and headed to the Netherworld imperial capital alone. The Yellow Springs Empire, the ruler of the Yellow Springs world, had a vast territory. The territory of the Yellow Springs Empire alone was comparable to the Taiching Heavenly region. Around the Yellow Springs Empire, there were other forces of various sizes. Lu Ming moved alone and his speed increased sharply. He traversed the void and was many times faster than before. In less than a day, Lu Ming had arrived near the Netherworld imperial capital. The capital of the Netherworld Kingdom was extremely majestic. It was even larger than Two World City. It was larger than any city that Lu Ming had ever seen. There were many roads leading to the capital of the Netherworld Kingdom. Tens of thousands of miles away from the Yellow Springs Empire, there were towering mountains. Lu Ming appeared on a mountain and looked into the distance. As expected, the city gates of the Netherworld imperial capital had been tampered with by the evil god race. As long as one entered, they would be able to detect the aura of the heaven realm. Lu Ming changed his direction and looked at the other city gates. It was the same. Lu Ming even saw traces of the evil god tribe at some of the city gates. How can I sneak into the Netherworld Imperial capital? Lu Ming frowned. If they could not enter the Netherworld Imperial capital, it would be very difficult for them to obtain useful information. Who is it? Suddenly, Lu Ming turned around and shouted coldly. His gaze was as sharp as a sword. He could feel that there was a disturbance in the space behind him. Lu Ming, your spiritual senses are getting sharper. A light chuckle was heard. Then, a figure flashed and a stunning woman appeared. Little Qing. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Who else could this beautiful woman be other than Xian Yanqing? Lu Ming did not expect to meet Xian Yanqing here. Lu Ming, you've made great progress in your cultivation. Xian Yanqing smiled charmingly. He walked over and held Lu Ming's hand. As your man, how can I not improve? I'll be surpassed by you. Lu Ming smiled. At the same time, he also noticed that Xian Yanqing had improved a lot. Now, Xian Yanqing's cultivation had reached the level of a 5-star heavenly emperor. When they entered Netherworld Mountain, Xian Yanqing was a 2-star heavenly emperor. In just 20 years, his cultivation had broken through 3 levels. This was extremely shocking. Xian Yanqing was a heavenly emperor, not a great emperor. It was extremely difficult for a heavenly emperor to advance. Breaking through 3 levels in a row in over 20 years. If this were to be known, it would be terrifying. Lu Ming realized that ever since Xian Yanqing devoured her memories from her previous life, her cultivation speed had become even more terrifying. It was much faster than before she devoured them. However, even so, it could not have happened so quickly. Lu Ming knew that Xian Yanqing must have had a fortuitous encounter in Netherworld Mountain. Moreover, Xian Yanqing's combat power was extremely strong. Back when he was a peak emperor, he could already fight Lu Ming. Although Xian Yanqing was a 5-star heavenly emperor now, he could definitely fight a peak emperor or even stronger. You're so smug. Do you believe that I'll beat you to the ground right now? Xian Yanqing rolled his eyes at Lu Ming, but his face was full of smiles. Little Qing, why are you here? Lu Ming asked. Right now, there are traces of the evil god tribe everywhere. The other powers are all working with the evil god tribe. I heard that something happened to the ancestral dragon here, so I came to take a look. Xian Yanqing said. It's a pity that the evil god tribe has set up formations that can detect the aura of the heaven realm at all the city gates. We can't get in at all. Otherwise, we could go in and ask for some information. Lu Ming said helplessly. The entire Yellow Springs Empire's city walls were set up with a large formation. One couldn't fly in directly. If they wanted to enter, they had to enter through the 4 city gates. That's easy. I have a way to cover up the aura of the heaven realm on my body. Xian Yanqing said. Do you have a way to hide the aura of the heaven realm? Lu Ming was shocked and very surprised. It was easy to conceal one's aura. However, the auras of worlds like the heaven realm and the primordial realm were shapeless and incorporeal. They couldn't be sensed normally, but they were engraved into one's bones and soul. They couldn't be erased. You're a creature from the heaven realm and the primordial realm, so you're born with the marks of these 2 worlds. How could Xian Yanqing cover it up? On second thought, Lu Ming felt at ease. Xian Yanqing had devoured the memories of his previous life. Her background in her previous life was probably very shocking and unfathomable. It was normal for her to have all kinds of wondrous methods. Well, now you know how powerful I am. Xian Yanqing smiled, then his 10 fingers bloomed like a lotus flower. Strange patterns appeared and finally condensed into a black lotus. The black lotus flew toward Lu Ming and fused into his body. Alright, I'm done. Xian Yanqing said as she continued to form seals. A lotus flower appeared on her body and disappeared in a flash. Chapter 2494, The Life or Death Pill. Alright, let's go. Lu Ming said. Naturally, he didn't doubt the effectiveness of Xian Yanqing's method. He had complete trust in Xian Yanqing. The two of them changed their appearances, concealed their auras, and flew toward the gates of the Netherworld imperial capital. When they came to the city gate and looked at it up close, they realized that there were runes carved on both sides of the city gate. This was the formation set up by the evil god race. As long as a creature from the heaven realm or the primordial realm entered, those runes would immediately react. On both sides of the city gate, there was a team of armored soldiers guarding. They're all celestial emperors. Lu Ming sensed that the soldiers guarding the city gate were all powerhouses of the heavenly emperor realm. In addition, there were some experts lying in wait near the city gate. Although they were well hidden, Lu Ming had mastered the Tao of domination and ruled the heaven and earth. His senses were extremely sharp and he could easily sense them. They were all experts, and there were even peak heavenly emperors. Lu Ming was secretly shocked by the strength of the Yellow Springs Empire. The Yellow Springs world was definitely stronger than either the heaven realm or the evil god realm. Even if the two joined forces, they would not be able to compare. Fortunately, the people of the Yellow Springs world had been cursed for generations, making it difficult for them to leave the Yellow Springs mountain. Otherwise, the situation outside would have changed a long time ago. The two of them swaggered into the capital of the Netherworld Empire. There were people of all races in the Netherworld imperial capital. There were also many humans. Naturally, no one paid attention to Lu Ming and his companion. The two of them walked around but did not find any traces of the evil god tribe. They found someone to sound them out but did not get much useful information. The two of them simply found an inn to stay in. For the next 10 days, the two of them wandered around the Netherworld imperial capital, but they did not obtain much useful information. On this day, the two of them strolled around the largest market in the imperial capital of the Netherworld. In the Yellow Springs world, there were many treasures that couldn't be found outside. The two of them also bought some. That is, the first prince. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. In front of him, he saw a young man with golden hair. This young man was the first prince, who was ranked first on the evil god tribe's longevity roll. The third eye between the first prince's brows was closed. His head was full of golden hair, and he was no different from a human. He was extremely handsome, like a natural sun, attracting the attention of others wherever he went. Around them, some young women kept looking at Prince De with shining eyes. However, when they saw the woman beside the first prince, their eyes dimmed. It was an extremely beautiful woman. She wore a purple one-piece dress that accentuated her perfect figure. Compared to her, the other women around her paled in comparison. Most importantly, this woman came from a huge family in the Yellow Spring imperial capital. It was the biggest alchemist family in the Yellow Spring Empire, the OU family. Oh Xing, the young miss of the OU family, how could those women dare to compare? The first prince and the young miss of the OU family, Oh Xing, were very close to each other as they shopped and bought things together. Lu Ming pulled Xian Yanqing along and followed behind the two of them from a distance. Since he had encountered the first prince, Lu Ming would not let him go easily. The first prince had a very high status in the evil god tribe and should know many secrets. After the first prince and Oh Xing strolled around, they left the city square and walked towards a bustling street. Not long after, they entered a wide mansion. The two of them followed him in. With Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing's current cultivation, it was impossible for the first prince and Oh Xing to notice them. There was a huge courtyard behind the mansion. In the courtyard, there was a lake, and in the middle of the lake, there was a pavilion. The first prince and Oh Xing came to the pavilion. The first prince held Oh Xing's waist with one hand and chatted with her. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing appeared not far away. Lu Ming waved his hand and the space cracked open. He and Xian Yanqing entered the crack and appeared in the sky above the pavilion. When Lu Ming was at the true emperor realm, he had already comprehended the space-time law. Now that he had transformed into the ruler's Tao, his control over space had reached the point of perfection. The first prince and Xing didn't notice the two of them at all as they were in the space above the pavilion. Moreover, the conversation between the two of them was clearly transmitted to Lu Ming and the rest. Xing, I've heard that your OU family has a life and death pill. Is that true? The first prince asked. Of course it's true. Our OU family is the #1 alchemist family in the Yellow Spring Empire. Xing laughed lightly and her tone carried a hint of pride. Is the life or death pill really as magical as the legends say? The first prince asked again. Of course. You should know that there's a tree of life on the Yellow Springs Island, the biggest cursed land in the Yellow Springs Empire. The tree of life will bear a kind of fruit called the fruit of life after a long period of time. The fruit of life possesses the miraculous power of nature. No matter how serious the injury is, it can heal it. It can even heal the injuries of gods. The life or death pill is made from the life fruit. Before the myriad tribulation, there were people from beyond the heavens like you who brought the life fruit from the Netherworld Island. My OU family was fortunate enough to obtain one and refined it into 9 life or death pills. Although the life or death pill isn't as effective as the fruit of life, it's only useless to immortals. For those below the immortal level, no matter how serious their injuries are, even if their life essence is damaged, one pill can cure them. After so many years of consumption, my OU clan only has 3 pills left. Xing explained, and her proud expression became even stronger. Life or death pill. Lu Ming's eyes were burning with passion. The life or death pill was actually refined from the fruit of life. No matter how serious the injury was, one pill would be able to heal it. Even if the source of one's life was injured, it would be the same. Lu Ming was tempted. The injury to his life source was no ordinary injury. Ordinary injuries were nothing to great emperors and heavenly emperor-level figures. Even if their bodies were to explode, they could be healed. However, it would be very difficult to recover if one's life essence was injured. If the battle was too intense, many experts would be injured. For example, the Titan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives devilish silkworm, the ancestral dragon, and the non-human divine ancestor had all been injured. They hadn't fully recovered after so many years. However, the life or death pill could heal these injuries quickly. If he could obtain the life or death pill, wouldn't the injuries of the Titan longhorn beetle and the 9 lives devilish silkworm be able to heal quickly and return to their peak state? Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing continued to listen. It's so amazing. Xing, I am really curious. Can you let me take a look at the life or death pill? The first prince said. Let you see. I can't let this happen. If my father and the old ancestor find out, I won't be able to bear the consequences. Xing said. Xing, I'm just curious and want to take a look. Take a look and take it back. They want no. Don't you even believe me? The first prince said gently. In the beginning, Xing didn't agree. After the first prince's coaxing and pestering, Xing finally agreed and secretly took out the life or death pill for the first prince to see. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing looked at each other and their eyes lit up. Chapter 2495, Why are you here? The first prince and Xing had agreed to meet here 3 days later. After that, they left. Initially, Lu Ming had planned to take down the first prince and gather some information. However, he had changed his mind and decided to wait for another 3 days. Naturally, he had his eyes on the life or death pill. After the first prince and Xing left, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing waited in the courtyard. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, when night fell, the first prince had been waiting for him. In the middle of the night, a figure stepped through the air. It was Xing. Xing, have you brought the life or death pill? The first prince quickly asked. I did, but I have to put it back quickly. If my father finds out, it won't be good. Oh Xing said. Don't worry, I'm just going to take a look to broaden my horizons. The first prince said with a smile. Oh Xing nodded. With a wave of her hand, a jade bottle with some inscriptions on it appeared in her palm. Oh Xing's fingers waved, and runes flew toward the jade bottle. Then, the jade bottle began to emit light, and the light only dimmed down after a while. Alright, I'm done. Oh Xing smiled and passed the jade bottle to the first prince. The first prince quickly took it and poured out a pill. A milky white pill the size of a pigeon's egg exuded a strong medicinal fragrance. Even Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing, who were hiding in the void, could smell it. Is this the life or death pill? The first prince murmured as he lowered his head and looked at her carefully. His eyes were filled with intense greed. After examining it for a while, the first prince put the life or death pill back into the jade bottle and handed it over to Oh Xing. He smiled and said, Xing, I've taken a good look. I'll return it to you. Yes, I'll return it now. Oh Xing smiled and reached out to take it. However, at this moment, the first prince's palm glowed like a battle sword. It struck towards Oh Xing's dantian at lightning speed. At such a close distance, coupled with the first prince's sneak attack, ordinary people would not be able to avoid it. However, at the moment when the first prince attacked, Oh Xing's body began to glow. A resplendent radiance spread out and turned into a battle armor that covered her entire body. At the same time, Oh Xing retreated rapidly. Boom! The first prince's palm energy struck Oh Xing's armor, but it was easily dissipated by the armor. Oh Xing retreated 100 meters and stood on the surface of the lake. Her face was extremely ugly. First, why? Oh Xing roared, her face filled with disappointment. So you've been on guard against me. The first prince's face was gloomy as he said coldly. He then raised the jade bottle in his hand and sneered, the life or death pill can heal any injury below the divine spirit realm, no matter how severe it is. Each pill is equivalent to a life. Only by following me can such a peerless pill display its true value. Do you understand? You said that you will stay in the Yellow Springs world and accompany me for the rest of your life. Was that all a lie? Oh Xing asked. Nonsense, I still have important things to do, why would I stay in this place? This place is just a cursed place. The first prince sneered. Sigh, I was too naive. Oh Xing sighed, and her disappointment became even stronger. I was going to give you a chance. If you didn't do it today, I would have treated you with all my heart. I could even ask my father to give you a life or death pill. Unfortunately, you've disappointed me. After saying that, a cold killing intent suddenly burst out from Oh Xing's eyes and she waved her hand. See law. The space behind Oh Xing suddenly split open, and two figures appeared. They were two old men in black robes, exuding a terrifying aura. They were two Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouses, one 3-star Heavenly Emperor and one 2-star Heavenly Emperor. The first prince's face darkened when he saw the two of them. He said, Bitch, not only have you been guarding against me, but you've also secretly brought people here. Are you trying to kill me? Originally, I brought them here just in case. If you didn't do anything, they wouldn't have appeared. Unfortunately, you've disappointed me. Give me the life or death pill and they'll leave your corpse intact. Oh Xing coldly said. Ha ha ha, bitch, you think I'm not prepared? I've been prepared for this. You don't trust me, and I've never trusted you. Come out. The first prince waved his hand. The void trembled, and figures appeared in the surrounding space. There were a total of 6 people, all of whom were from the evil god tribe. Moreover, all of them were Heavenly Emperor-level powerhouses. There were even 2 4-star Heavenly Emperor-level peerless powerhouses. Seeing these people, Oh Xing's pretty face turned pale. First, I'm just joking with you. For the sake of our relationship, please let me go. On Oh Xing's face, an ugly smile appeared. Let you go? I don't want to be enemies with your OU clan. Although your OU clan doesn't have a martial god and I'm not afraid of you, it's still a problem. You can go in peace. I'll do my best with these 3 life or death pills. Do it. The first prince laughed coldly. His voice was ice cold as he gave the order. Young miss, quickly leave. Behind Oh Xing, 2 old men took her and charged in one direction. However, the 6 members of the evil god race had also made their move. They sealed off the sky and earth, surrounding the 3 of them and unleashing terrifying attacks. The difference in strength between the 2 sides was too great. The 2 old men that Oh Xing brought were not his opponents at all. As soon as they made a move, they were blown up. Number 1 dog thief, you'll die a terrible death, you'll die a terrible death. Oh Xing crazily cursed. However, in the next moment, she was struck by the attacks of several celestial emperors and instantly turned into ashes, her body and soul destroyed. In the air, Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing were speechless. However, this was equivalent to a dog-eat-dog fight. Before this, the 2 of them naturally wouldn't make a move. After killing Oh Xing and the 2 experts of the OU family, the first prince was overjoyed. He took out the jade bottle again and poured out 3 pills. All of them were life or death pills, and the medicinal fragrance was extremely rich. Ha ha ha, what a great harvest. Let's go, let's quickly leave this place. The first prince laughed out loud. He then kept the jade bottle and turned around to leave. However, after flying for a while, he realized that the 6 members of the evil god race were still standing in the air, not moving at all. I told you to leave, didn't you hear me? The first prince turned around and said impatiently. However, the moment he turned around, his eyes widened. It was because the 6 demonic humans seemed to be frozen in the air. They couldn't move at all, and only their faces revealed a frightened expression. Who is it? The first prince's hair stood on end. He shouted and quickly turned around to check. Aren't we welcome, old friends? A chuckle was heard and the space cracked open. Lu Ming and Xian Yanqing walked out. Lu Ming, why are you here? How did you enter this place? The first prince's eyes widened as he roared in disbelief. The gate of the Yellow Springs Empire's imperial capital was engraved with a formation that could detect the aura of the Heaven Realm. The creatures of the Heaven Realm couldn't enter the imperial capital at all. The first prince did not expect to meet Lu Ming here. Chapter 2496, Life or Death Pill in Hand. Is it very difficult to enter this place? Lu Ming smiled faintly and said, We're just passing by. We didn't expect to see such a good show. Life or death pill. Not bad. It's a waste to leave it in your hands. Leave it to me. You want the life or death pill? Dream on, run. The first prince shouted angrily, turned around, and ran. However, the next moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming suddenly released a terrifying aura that pressed down on the first prince. The first prince's body shook violently and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Your cultivation, the first prince was in disbelief. He was completely vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. Back then, when he had fought Lu Ming at the foot of the evil god tribe's sacred mountain, the 2 of them had been about the same. His cultivation had been at the peak Great Emperor realm. After all these years of cultivation, his cultivation had already reached the Heavenly Emperor realm, and he was now a 2-star Heavenly Emperor. To break through from peak Great Emperor to 2-star Heavenly Emperor in just a few decades was already extremely shocking. However, he was worlds apart from Lu Ming. Lu Ming's aura alone was enough to force him back and make him spit blood. Attack, attack together. The first prince shouted at the other 6 members of the evil god race. However, the 6 members of the evil god race could not move at all. Don't waste your energy, Xian Yanqing said. His body was covered in black light, like a demoness. She stretched out her hand, and a black lotus flower suddenly appeared on the bodies of the 6 evil god race members, enveloping them within it. In just a few breaths' time, the black lotus flower dissipated, and the 6 evil god race beings within it also disappeared without a trace. Only 6 storage bracelets were left floating in the air. The first prince's pupils contracted rapidly, and a look of fear appeared on his face. To be able to kill 6 members of the evil god race with just a raise of his hand. What kind of combat strength was that? One should know that there were 2 4-star Heavenly Emperor experts inside. To be able to do this, one must at least be a peak Heavenly Emperor, right? At the thought of this, the first prince became even more frightened. Lu Ming, I advise you to let me go obediently. Now, the ancestral dragon has been defeated, and my race's holy ancestor has cooperated with the martial god of the Yellow Spring Empire. Your heaven realm is destined to be defeated. There's no turning back. If you let me go now, I can still put in a few good words for you and spare your life. The first prince said. Spare my life? Hee, I can't trust you, and you even killed the woman who trusted you. What else can't you do? Lu Ming sneered and took a step forward. A terrifying pressure pressed down on the first prince. The first prince's body shook violently and he spat out another mouthful of blood. Tell me, how is Senior Ancestral Dragon? What happened in the capital of the Netherworld Kingdom? Lu Ming pressed. Ancestral Dragon, ha, let me tell you, he's dead. He was killed by our saint ancestor. He was skinned and his tendons were pulled out. Seeing that Lu Ming would not let him off, the first prince decided to throw caution to the wind and burst out laughing. Senior Ancestral Dragon is dead? No, that's impossible. Lu Ming's heart trembled. He then shook his head. If you want to lie to me, then I'll search for it myself. Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he pointed his finger. His finger was like a spear, piercing toward the first prince's dantian. The first prince was shocked and retreated frantically, trying to avoid it. But now, Lu Ming's combat strength was much stronger than his. He could not avoid it at all and his dantian was hit instantly. Bang! The first prince's dantian had been pierced through by Lu Ming and his cultivation was crippled. The first prince let out a hysterical scream, but his voice stopped abruptly. Lu Ming pointed his finger at his glabella and began to search his soul. Lu Ming saw the first prince's memories in his soul. After a long while, Lu Ming ended the soul search. He waved his hand and kept the first prince into his small world. The first prince had a special status. He might be useful. However, the first prince's storage bracelet was in Lu Ming's hands. Let's go. Lu Ming pulled Xian Yanqing, tore open the space, and left the place. Lu Ming, what's going on? How's the ancestral dragon? Not long after, they returned to the inn. Xian Yanqing quickly asked. Senior Ancestral Dragon is not dead, Lu Ming smiled and briefly explained what he had seen to Xian Yanqing. It turned out that not long after they entered Netherworld Mountain, the Ancestral Dragon and the non-human Divine Ancestor had both come to the Yellow Spring Empire. Their target was the cursed land of the Yellow Springs Empire. For existences on the level of the Ancestral Dragon and the non-human Divine Ancestor, the other cursed lands were of little use. They wanted to enter the biggest cursed land, and the life fruits inside were the most useful. However, it wasn't easy to enter the cursed land. He had to get the support of the Yellow Springs Empire. As such, the two of them started to compete in the Yellow Springs Empire. They each supported an important figure of the Yellow Springs Empire and fought for the power of the Yellow Springs Empire. Unfortunately, after decades of fighting, the side that Zhu Long supported was defeated and killed. Zhu Long also escaped from the capital of the Netherworld Empire with injuries and his whereabouts were unknown. Moreover, Lu Ming also learned that the divine ancestor of the non-human race had yet to enter the cursed land. The first prince had no idea why. The ancestor dragon was not dead. Lu Ming was finally relieved. The ancestral dragon was the key to fighting against the non-human divine ancestor. He was the only martial god in the heaven realm. In addition, Lu Ming had also discovered a clue. During this period of time, the alien race had discovered a hidden cursed land. However, it seemed that the heaven realm had entered that place. During this period of time, the alien race had been paying close attention to the cursed land and planned to send people to encircle and annihilate the heaven realm creatures in the cursed land. We can't let them succeed. Lu Ming and Xie Nianqing discussed for a while before leaving the inn. Not long after, they appeared outside a huge mansion. After searching the first prince's soul, he found out that this was the evil god tribe's headquarters in the Netherworld imperial capital. If the evil god tribe wanted to send out experts, they would definitely head out from here. At that time, they only needed to follow. The two of them hid in the dark void and paid close attention to the mansion. As for Lu Ming, he took out the first prince's storage ring and began to count. The first prince had an astonishing amount of resources. There were 2 weapons that were equivalent to Heaven Dao soldiers and a large number of divine stones. Lu Ming did not bother about it. He went straight to the jade bottle. In the jade bottle, there were 3 life-or-death pills. Lu Ming planned to give the life-death pill to the Titan Longhorn Beetle and the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm first so that they could recover from their injuries. With a single thought, the jade bottle appeared in his small world. Lu Ming's figure appeared in his small world as well. Ever since he had attained the Great Emperor realm, Lu Ming's real body could enter his own small world. When he entered the small world, it would automatically hide in the dark void. Lu Ming took the jade bottle and walked to the place where he had planted the Path Understanding Ancient Tree. After so many years, the Path Understanding Ancient Tree had grown to 2 meters tall. It was so huge that it covered the sky. The Titan Longhorn Beetle, the 9 Lives Devilish Silkworm, and the others were cultivating and chatting under the Path Understanding Ancient Tree. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.